Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy Simeon Russell, and we are on live. Special guest. It's a hard knock. It's a hard Knicks life. Almost quoted Jay-Z, but it's a hard Knicks life. So let's get into it. What's poppin', Knicks family? Glad to see you guys here. Hope you had a great start to your week. I know my week has been good so far. Even though we're only 2 days into it, my week has been pretty good. Had a very nice week so far. Number one, the tickets sold out. The tickets to the NBK Opening Night Kickoff sold out. So that makes it a very good week. Right from the jump street. And again, let me turn my headphones around. This is the second show in a row I've had to turn my headphones around because they're uncomfortable. Not sure why I keep doing it, but for some reason I keep doing it. But anyway, they sold out. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit later in the show. But I have spoken with MSG, and there is another lounge available. And if we can get 40 people to agree or to pay for that lounge, then we have another lounge. So we can potentially open up 40 more slots, 40 more spots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send around a wait list. Sign your name to the wait list. If you want to go to the NBK Opening Night Kickoff, October 17th versus the Atlanta Hawks, sign your name to the wait list. Once the wait list gets up to 60, because I'm sure there's going to be some people who don't come through. Once that wait list gets up to 60, we'll start taking payment for those tickets, and hopefully within a couple of days we'll have our second lounge locked down. And so be on the lookout for that. A little bit later in the show, I'm going to send out that wait list. You know, as we get more people here, we'll send the wait list out and be in that first 40, because those tickets sold out with less than a week for the first lounge. They sold out in less than a week. So be on that wait list so I can get a hold of you. All right. Before we get to that, though, we're going to bring our guests in, and we're going to talk to our guests a little bit, have some fun. We have Craig from Hard Knicks Life. We have Barry from Hard Knicks Life, and then Viv is joining us in the chat as well, because we need somebody to even out the screen so it doesn't look funny. All right. So don't mind Viv while he's up there, but he'll participate in the chat, I promise. But don't mind Viv. And we're going to start off with our first topic. The Knicks respond to the eBay fan, or the ex-Knick fan. I want to talk about it a little bit, because he's going to be on the show Thursday night. We'll talk about what we need to say to this guy. All right, so here we go on the screen. I'm unmuting. I got Barry, I got Craig, and we got Viv. How you guys doing tonight?
We were muted that whole time?
You were muted, yeah. Yeah, you were muted so that we didn't hear in case you guys were saying anything. Yeah, you were muted.
All right, well that's good. Barry said some really inappropriate stuff.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if you threw any shots at Barry or Barry threw any shots at Craig, then you got off the hook this time because they didn't hear you.
Vivek was throwing down, and I said, dude, you're only here to fill out the screen.
Yeah. he knows I'm a problem, man.
Yeah, Viv goes in like every night. Hey guys, we have a rough chat. Trust me, we have a rough group that gets into the video chat, and I mean, it can be tough. You're gonna meet them. Sooner or later, you're gonna meet these guys. They're gonna come into the chat sometime tonight, and they can be a rough group to deal with. Not to mention the chat that's here on, that's live on YouTube. They're a little bit tougher, those guys. But I want to get you guys' opinion. All three of you guys, what do you think? I'm pretty sure I know what you think about the infuriated Knicks fan, right? That sold his fandom. What do you think about the Knicks' response?
Well, they have to say something, right?
Anyone.
And can't give this guy any credibility, whatsoever. So I think it's fine that they said some stuff. And then who was it? Woj that came out? Was it Woj that said that basically said that the Knicks shouldn't have said something, and it was like the old Knicks. Was that him that made that comment?
It was Beck.
It was Beck.
That said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. I mean, they basically asked the Knicks a question about it. I mean, I think it was a fine, fair response, you know.
Yeah.
By the organization.
Right. I didn't have a problem with what they said. I mean, they basically just said, who cares about this guy? He got his 15 seconds of fame, and we're going to enjoy the rest of our season. You know what I'm saying? Viv, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want some fan to just clown your players like that. You know, if this guy, if you just don't say anything, you know, whoever's writing the statement, whether it's in PR or whoever it is, yeah, they're defending the players. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. Look, I don't even know if Dolan even saw this thing. I mean, knowing Dolan, he could have just, you know, been on tour and just minding his own business or something.
Right.
You know, but look, you know, for the Knicks to, I mean, it's one thing to like ignore it, but look, you know, this fan was kind of saying some crazy stuff. So, you know, it's good to defend the players. And for Beck, you know, Beck got this post, you know, the beat writer derangement syndrome that some of the beat used to have, you know. So I'm not surprised that he, you know, had a little quip there about, you know, Dolan being Dolan, assuming Dolan is involved. You know, he's been bitter for a long time, especially against, you know, like people on the internet, like some of the internet creators. He's had a, you know, he's been pretty jealous to say the least for some strange reason. So
yeah, and he, they all, you know, a lot of those guys kind of come down on the Knicks. It's the popular thing to do. Around the world, it seems. Around the world, it's the popular thing to do. You know, somehow, some way, come down on the Knicks. You know what? I don't know what it's all about. You know, I've heard different stories about some of the Knicks beat writers and things that have gone on. I don't even want to go into all of that. This guy's become a Lakers fan.
Yeah, perfect place for him.
Yeah.
With the
as far
very
away from here
loyal
as you can
LeBron
get.
James, he can go fucking join him. I allowed to curse him.
You're good. Don't worry about it.
Barry told me I might get in trouble with you.
Nah, you're good. We get guys that slip up all the time. I mean, we do have some young people that get on. We got this 12-year-old kid that calls in. His name is Oscar.
How
I've heard him before.
He's
Great.
Yeah, he is very, very smart. I mean, he has a good basketball mind to be 12 years old. You know what I mean? And, you know, look, the kid might end up being a general manager one day. He might end up, who knows what he might end up doing, but he's pretty intelligent being a 12-year-old. We have this one caller named Esco, though. For whatever reason, he has beef with every single person that comes into our video chat, and he's probably listening right now, right? And if he calls in, he's probably going to have beef with you guys. So,
who do you think most likely?
Who would he have beef with? Well, I guess it's going to depend on what you guys say. One thing, he loves Trey Burke, right? So if either one of you guys don't like Trey Burke, he's coming after you.
I'm not getting into it with any Trey Burke fans tonight. The worst.
Yeah. He's going to come right on and say, you're a Trey Burke hater, man. I'm telling you, that's his line. That's his line. You're a Trey Burke hater.
Well, we love Trey Burke then.
Yeah.
Get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Not as much as Frank, but we love him.
I'm with you. That's how I feel. Now, this guy's going to come on the show on Thursday. Right? And I let him know the chat is ready for you. The chat is ready to eat you alive. And chat, if you're listening, I know you're listening. I know you're paying attention. He said he's ready for you. He said he's ready. And I told him, I said, listen, I'm not going to ask you soft questions. I said, I think you did it all for the attention. And I guess I'm part of it because I'm giving you some attention. But I want my guys, I want my chat to be able to lay it into you. Because, you know, people have been kind of just, you know, giving them, you know, puffy interviews like Viv said. I want to be able to light into this guy. Tell him exactly what we feel and exactly what we think. You know what I mean?
How much money did he end up getting?
I'm not sure, but I think he got
$3,500.
$3,500.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sold his Nick fandom for $3,500.
$3,500.
I mean, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just surprised that somebody actually gave him money for this. I don't get that. Someone actually gave him money. I read some of what he had on eBay. They actually gave this guy money so that he can travel to see the team once or twice a year. You know, to pay for his hotel stay. They pay for, you know, of course, the travel, the tickets, for to buy a jersey of whatever team that he was going to go to. They actually paid him to do this.
You know, when there's an attention seeker out there that does something different that, you know, you really haven't read about before, usually you've got people on both sides of the situation, like some people that applauding for him, what he's doing, and some people not. But I can't see anybody, you know, liking what this guy's doing. You know, obviously the Knicks fans aren't going to like it, you know,
right.
and I mean, it's basically good riddance to him, but, you know, who wants him? And any team that he's going to become a part of, you basically bought him out, you know, so the guy's going to know he's going to be eaten alive on the
Yeah.
I don't know. Everyone, like Sim said, everyone hates the Knicks, so I'm sure the rest of the league was getting a big chuckle out of this.
Exactly. Yeah, big chuckle out of it. And you know, I'm so tired of all of these, you know, you got the crying Knicks fan, now you got this guy, get all the publicity, and the real hardcore Knicks fans that have suffered a hard Knicks life
are crying every night.
Exactly. And you know, no one is really, you know, nobody cares about us. They, you know, they want this type of
so
stuff.
The ironic part about it is actually the only coverage is actually through the national coverage. So this is really making rounds on ESPN and everything. But if you ask like someone like Alan Hahn and all those like the true, like, you know, the local Knicks guys, you know, they're just like, you know, this guy's trash, you know. So this is really just to like feed the national media mind, you know, so it gets a couple rounds on ESPN, you know. That's all it really boils down to. It's just ridiculous.
That's the thing. It's like all these little things pop up, and it really makes the Knicks. It puts the Knicks in a bad light.
Yeah. And working so hard to change that image. We're working so hard to change that image. That's one of the reasons why I want to get him here and really let him know and really just lay it into him, because I'm going to take it and I'm going to cut it and I'm going to put it out on Twitter or whatever it is. We want to lay into him for real and let him know what we think.
Sim, why did he do it now?
Now,
like of all the years to do it.
Why now? Exactly.
Season where there's finally some hope and some young guys to watch, and he chose now, not after 2 seasons ago, 3, 4,
not even 10 seasons ago.
You know why? Because he needed the fucking money.
Probably so, right? Probably so.
He just needed a rent check.
Yeah.
A very big rent check, but he needed a rent check.
Yeah, probably so. So this is what I want to ask you guys, because you know, I was asking some people on Twitter, you know, what should we talk about tonight? And one of the things that came up with, which I think is a good topic, are the training camp spots. You know, right now we have 19. The Knicks have 19 roster spots filled. You can take 20 in the training camp. If Joakim Noah is waived, then you'd have 2 roster spots, training camp roster spots available. Should we even pursue or leave those spots available in the event that, you know, we make a trade for Courtney Lee? I mean, I know they're only training camp roster spots, but it is an opportunity for someone to play and the opportunity to see somebody who could possibly, you know, maybe one day crack the rotation. You know, so what do you guys think we should do with those roster spots? And if we do decide to bring in some players, do we bring in another guard? Do we bring in another big man to take a look at them and maybe have them play for the G League squad? What do you think we should do with them?
If you're going to bring somebody in, I think you need a big man because, you know, we got Robinson, hopefully who's going to be up, you know, on the big stage start the season. We got Cantor with KP out, and most likely all signs are pointing to Joakim Noah being waived and stretched. That's one spot I think you're going to have a minutes filler. You know, you're not just going to go between Cantor and Robinson. So, I mean, that's a spot. We don't need another guard on this team. I mean,
right.
A good guard.
Right.
I think they've done a good job bringing in guys that can switch between the 3 and the 4, between Hazonia and Knox and Vonleh. And I want these guys to get their minutes. So I mean, I think it would be important for them to get a number 5.
I refuse to talk about the 19th and 20th training camp.
But they could be important. I mean,
No.
look,
And what's today's date? Is it August 28th? You have a lot more to talk about.
we have a lot.
Is Ron Baker going to be on the playing?
Yeah, he's there.
Is he ready?
I mean, Ron Baker is. We've talked so much about Ron Baker on here, and I'm one of the guys that believe that Fizdale is gonna like Ron Baker. I'm not saying that he's gonna get major minutes. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I think
I like him for his practice squad,
maybe it'll be his practice squad. But I think he has some of the characteristics that Fizdale likes. He plays hard. He works hard. Does he have the talent and the skill to really crack the lineup? I don't know. But I think, just those qualities, I think, is going to give him a chance in Fizdale's mind. But look, Trey Burke was one of your 19th. I mean, he wasn't even the 19th and 20th guy. He was just signed straight to the G League squad. So, sometimes those 19th and 20th spots, they could produce something if if you're looking and you're scouting, maybe they could do something. I don't know, or I guess you could leave them open so that if you do trade Courtney Lee and there's going to be multiple players involved, you can bring somebody in before you can use those roster spots, if I'm correct, to make a trade, and then you'd have to waive them before the season begins, right? Mm-hmm. Something like that.
For what it's worth, I think the 19th spot last year went to Jarrett Jack. He was signed in mid-September.
Yep.
And that 20th spot actually ended up being used, I think, for McDermott and Kenner. So, still early in a sense that you never know what will happen in mid-September. So,
yeah.
Keep an eye open.
Yeah. You never know.
Knowledge.
Yeah.
How did you know that?
That's tough.
Someone's got to look that up. I don't believe you.
Look, Vivek's, he's not just a pretty face filling up the screen, all right?
Yeah, right. Viv
I watched this. I got the league pass and everything going on for a reason.
There you go. Viv goes in deep sometimes.
Yeah.
Viv. I guess I should say, when I just said Viv goes in deep sometimes, I'll say pause. But sometimes Viz drops some knowledge on us sometimes. But I'm gonna open up the lines for a minute. 516-405-2246. You guys should be able to hear this. Call you on live with nothing but Knicks. What's popping, man?
Yo, Black, it's time. Shout out to the chat. What up, Sim?
Tony, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
I'm good, bro.
Yes.
What's on the docket right now?
So, we've discussed two things already, and we're going to dive deep into some stuff a little bit later. But right now, we talked about the infuriated Knicks fan guy. He's going to be here Thursday, so I hope you're ready for him, right? Because we're going to throw the bats at him, and then we're going to throw the bats at him, and then we were talking about we got one more training camp spot open, 19th. Well, the 20th, we got the 20th training camp spot open. What do we do? Do we leave it open in the event that we trade? We do something with Courtney Lee? Do we bring somebody in? Or if we, which likely is going to happen, we're going to waive Joakim Noah. Do we leave it open? Or do we bring people into those two spots? Do we leave it open so that we can take in a trade? If we do bring somebody in, do we look for another guard, another big man, another wing? Where do we look at? What do we look at? Because like Viv said last year, Jarrett Jack, he was like the 19th guy. He ended up being our starting point guard.
That's true. That is true. I would definitely fill the spot. I wouldn't leave it open because it's not like it's a real roster spot. It's training camp. So you want to get somebody in immediately and see, if they have any value. Why you have 20 positions rather than 17 or 15,
right?
Including the two ways. So I would probably bring in a big as well. That I think that's going to be our most the position we're in need of most, especially if we're getting rid of Noah Now we're talking about Cancer playing heavy minutes and Mitchell potentially playing more minutes than he may be ready to play, conditioning wise. So, and we got the other, what's his name, Noah Vonleh.
Noah Vonleh.
Yeah, we got him too.
Yeah, but, Vonleh.
Yeah, I think big center is probably the most important position to bring somebody in to look at right now. Most of our guys can play multiple positions, but not many of them can play center and other positions.
Okay. So is there anybody out there that we look at? Is there anybody out there, a veteran that we look at that we say that could be our Jarrett Jack? Possibly, because I guess that's what those spots are for, right? You bring somebody in that could possibly, that you may be giving a chance to, or someone who is coming off an injury that could, help you out sometime during the season, or just looking to give somebody a chance, right? Is there anyone out there that you would consider?
I'll be honest, I was thinking about it, and I heard a lot of people talking about it and really shutting it down quick. But I wouldn't mind looking at Stoudemire again. Now, everybody gets upset when you say Stoudemire's name. You got to think about, number one, it's going to be veteran minimum.
That's true.
Could possibly be a non-guarantee. And you know what he can do. Now, he doesn't have to play 30-plus minutes. He's not being asked to score 30 points 6 or 7 times in a row. He's contributing with experience. He's contributing with the things he can do well, getting to the basket, getting fouled. So I would consider it. I'm not gonna say we gotta get him, but when you bring in veterans at the vet minimum, those are the kind of guys you want to get.
So what role would Stat play? What role would Stoudemire play?
Well, he's definitely not going to be starting, but a veteran leader, talking to a guy like Mitchell, and giving him that game, that experience that he went through in Phoenix and New York, that's invaluable. He could play Jarrett Jack's role, but for the bigs.
But for the bigs.
Hey, Sim, you know who's knocking on this video chat trying to get in? Is Luke Cornett. He's saying, you guys forgot about me.
Yeah, right?
I tell you. Mentioning all these big guys, he's one of your roster spots. It's like we pretty much all gave up on him.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Absolutely
right. I mean, and Luke Cornett, we talked about him. I forget about Luke. I forget about Luke Cornett. I forget about Mario Hezonja all the time. I forget about those two guys. I don't know why.
That's something. You got a guy 7'1", 7'2", that should be a presence, and you're forgetting about him. He got his minutes for the end of the season.
Yeah, what does that tell you?
And I was high on him last year. So
I mean, and he is a guy that can go between. And he can go between the 4 and the 5. My only issue with him is defensively, when he's at the 4 spot, can he guard the perimeter?
He's probably better suited as a 5, as a rim protector, not guarding guys on the perimeter. So I mean, there you go. We still got a guy, another big.
Right.
I think the point guard is set. I think the 2 guard is set. I think the 3 is set. Maybe 4, but we have so many multiple position guys. They can play the 3 or the 4. They can play the 4 or the 5. I mean, maybe we don't do anything.
Yeah,
if we bring somebody in, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind Stoudemire. I wouldn't be mad at it. Put it like that. I wouldn't be advocating for it, but I wouldn't be mad.
Okay. What do you guys think about Stoudemire? I see Viv shaking his head. Craig is just laughing, ready to blast you, Tony.
Saying maybe he could be the next Jarrett Jack, and I hated Jarrett Jack last year. Why do we want these vets coming on the team to take minutes of the only guys we want to see play? Wasn't Jarrett Jack playing last year torture? Was for me.
Yeah, he was for me too.
He ruined that season for me.
Every time that
won't-
starting lineup popped up on MSG, man, and I saw his face at the end of that lineup.
Well, in the beginning of the season, I liked Jarrett Jack. Once we were out of it, I was like, what's the purpose? Why is he playing? You know, why is he getting minutes when you got when you got Frank, Trey Burke, use Trey Burke? Why is Jarrett Jack getting minutes? I couldn't understand it. But in the beginning of the season, when we were winning, I got it, and I was okay. But by Christmas, he was out of legs. He was done. And it's like Jeff Hornacek couldn't see it.
Jeff Hornacek.
See, this is
He couldn't see it.
This is a real question I got though. It's that if Fizdale is trying to teach defense, if he's trying to teach pick and roll defense to these bigs, and all of a sudden you see like Stoudemire, just blowing these pick and roll defenses all the time, what good influence is that? If you're trying to teach proper defense and you have Amar'e Stoudemire on there who's not even playing proper, he can't even play defense.
Yeah.
What is that then? What type of message is that?
Yeah. Could you imagine Stoudemire and Cantor playing the 4 and the 5 together? What teams would do to us? Oh my gosh.
But
It's not. It's
to
not
play devil's
happening.
advocate-
It's not happening.
Wait, what you say, Tony? Just what?
Just to play devil's advocate real quick. Stoudemire's defense at the center position was not that bad. His problem is the same as Kansas, where they're horrible on the perimeter. They're horrible in pick and roll. But he blocked shots.
We're still
throughout
talking
his
about
career.
Stoudemire.
I don't know, man. I don't know, Tony. Hey, Tony, I agree with you on most things. Stat was bad. No, one-on-one. Okay, I'll say this. One-on-one, he could play a little bit one-on-one, but he was so bad with his rotations. I would literally look at this. I would watch him, and I would call out the rotation, and about 5 seconds later, he'd make the rotation after the play is over. I'm like, what are you doing? How can you not see these rotations coming? It used to kill me. And I love Amar'e Stoudemire. I really did. I really liked Stat. I respected that he came to the Knicks. I liked, I just liked him. I liked his style, and who he was. But, oh, man. And I'm not sure. This is my only, not my only thing, but my thing about Stat. They said that they want to bring in veterans. If they bring in veterans, they want to bring in guys that know their role, that know that they're not going to get playing time. I'm not sure Stoudemire will get that. You know what I mean?
He's playing in the big three. He knows. He knows
Right.
he's going to be the 16th man or the 14th man. He knows that. He knows he's probably going to be waiting for opportunity, but he knows he's not there to like he came last time. The Knicks are back. I mean, the Knicks might be back, but he's going to be in the back of the lineup.
Yeah, for sure. Right.
I'm not saying starter him. I'm not saying bring him in, like, to put us over the top.
Yeah. I feel you.
I think he would be a great mentor for Robinson.
Okay.
Especially since Robinson is already miles ahead of where Stoudemire was defensively.
Yeah.
So
that's true. That's definitely true.
If he can learn the offense that Stoudemire had coming into the league, Stoudemire was a little younger, but they kind of do the same things offensively.
Right.
He would be a great mentor.
That's true.
Tony, what are your thoughts of giving that last training camp roster spot to Marbury? You want to do that?
Don't get me started on Marbury. But
hey,
listen, this direction is this franchise is finally headed in the right direction. You can't go backwards, right, Sim?
You're right about that. You can't go backwards.
I got one idea.
I'm not gonna lie. A couple years ago, before we got Derrick Rose, I think I was actually thinking, should we reach out to Marbury? You know what I mean, and bring him back from China. It was a thought that crossed my mind. I'm not gonna lie about it. Go ahead, Viv. I'm sorry.
I would love for Marbury to sign a one-day contract and retire.
And retire Nick.
Yeah, because they did him dirty. So I think that would be a nice gesture.
Okay. Viv, what was you gonna say?
I got one idea for someone like out of the box. As not really a vet per se, but you remember the guy in the lake that if you remember the Lakers that last game of the regular season, they brought this like 33-year-old guy from the G League.
From the D League.
And all of a sudden, it was Andre Ingram, right? He had like 20 points for the last regular season game for the Lakers. Bringing someone like that, he's not your typical veteran, but maybe someone that maybe inspires, the team to kind of like work a little bit harder, in training camp. I don't know if he's going to leave the Lakers system, but, maybe it's worth a dark horse idea just to, try to bring him in just to see, how well he pushes the guys in training camp. Maybe it makes a difference. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
the Warriors every year they have this guy that's like 70 years old, and he comes and he like goes to their G League team and tries out every single year. Maybe we can bring him in. I read that like last year or a year ago, man. This guy. Yeah. Hey.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah. Hey Tony, man, I'm gonna let you go. I know some other people that want to call in, but I'm gonna open up the video chat.
I'm about to knock on the other chat.
All right. We're gonna open it up in a couple minutes.
Shout out to the chat. Keep doing your thing.
Yep. Peace, man. I'll see you in the video chat in a minute.
No doubt.
Lines are open. 516-405-2246. Give me a call. Let me shout out a couple of these super chats before we continue this conversation, because a couple of them came in. All right, let's see. Caller, you're on live with Nothing But Knicks, but give me 1 second. All right, give me 1 second and I'm gonna get to you. Let me give shout out to Mighty Knicks. Give a welcome to the Hard Knicks life for joining us. Shout out to Robert Paris. Says Woj says talent is coming to the Knicks. Yes, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna get to that. Again, Mighty Knicks says Robert Paris.
Wow.
Robert Paris. Yeah. Mighty Knicks again with the super chat said, is it too late to sign up for the Cash Fantasy? There's actually another Cash Fantasy. If you go on the website nothingbutnicks.com, there's a link to it, so you can get into that Cash Fantasy League because it's still open. The first one is closed, the second one is open. And then Siobhan Robinson, he said Stoudemire was ground and pound fire extinguishers. Yeah. Fire extinguishers and wine.
Wine bathing.
That's his legacy in New York.
Barry's in a wine bath right now with his shirt on, so you guys can't tell.
Yeah. You're on live with Nothing But Knicks, caller. What's going on?
Hey Sam, thanks for taking my call.
Oscar, what's going on?
Hey, so about the open training camp spots, I definitely think we should use them. As a young team, we can definitely use some guys to just bring in, maybe some vets for the locker room or some young guys, but I don't really think there are any good young guys on the market. But maybe if Moutier disappoints in preseason, I never liked him, we just cut him, bring back Jack, not to get many minutes, just as a guy who's been in not the Fizdale system, but who's been on the team for a year, who could kind of be a mentor or someone who Ntilikina knows. Obviously, he wouldn't really get minutes, but again, like as a locker room thing, I think it would be beneficial. I know we drafted some like Russian point guard last draft in the late second round. We might as well see him. I mean, it doesn't really matter who we get, but as long as we use them, if we don't use them, I think it'd just be a waste opportunity.
Yeah, I forgot about what's that guy's name? I forgot his name.
I don't know, but
Yaramaz or something.
Yeah, Yaramaz. Yeah, I forgot about that guy. And he
I believe he re-signed, I think, with that whatever team he was with.
Did he?
Okay. I never really seen any like tape of him. I don't know anything about him, but so we don't have his rights anymore.
No, we have his rights. He just he's going to be playing for the other team, so he can't come here for preseason only.
Well,
right,
okay.
because Wisconsin. Do you know, Viv, how long that contract is?
I believe he just re-signed it. I think it's another 3 years.
Another 3 years, so it would be a while. But I mean, we'd probably be trading that guy. Yeah, we'll never see that guy. Just like the French dude with the afro. You're never going to see that guy play on the team. And I think we still have his rights.
LeBert, what's his name? Labrie
or something.
Labrie or something like that. He used to come to training camp.
He was never good, though.
He come to training camp every year, and obviously never end up on a team. Yaramaz is probably going to be the same way.
Yeah.
So, Oscar, did you hear Esco the other night?
I wasn't here last stream. No.
Okay.
What did he say?
I'm not gonna repeat it. I'm just gonna ask you to go on. I don't know exactly the time, but he talked about you. He's got some beef with you, Oscar. He's got some beef with you.
Is it about Trey Burke?
It's about Trey Burke. He's got some beef with you about Trey Burke.
Someone has beef with
I've
Oscar?
always hated Trey Burke.
Esco's got beef with Oscar, so we're gonna have to get you two on the line and talk it out.
Okay.
Two opposite ends of the spectrum. Oscar is 12. Oscar is 12, and Esco, I don't know. He might be 70. I don't know how old Esco is, but we're gonna get you guys together and talk it out.
Okay.
Barry just texted me, said he has a big beef with Oscar. You guys.
Not true. Don't listen to him, Oscar.
Oh, Oscar, trust me. I should show you the text, but.
One more thing before you go, Oscar. What do you think about this guy that sold his Knicks fandom?
I mean, this guy just wants money. He just wants his 15 minutes of fame. I don't really think it's much. I mean, it was kind of funny when I first saw it. I bet he didn't really think it would blow up and anyone would bid. It was probably just a joke, but I mean, I doubt he's gonna actually become a Lakers fan. He's probably just gonna take his 3,500 and run. But I don't really care about it, to be honest.
Oh, there you go. There you go, Oscar. It's always a pleasure when you call. All right. And check out the last stream. I don't know when it was. It was towards the end. Check out the last stream. You know Esco's voice. So once you hear Esco's voice, listen to him. All right?
Yep.
All right, Oscar.
Please don't listen to our podcast. Take no offense to that.
Thanks for taking my call.
All right. Thanks, Oscar. Talk to you later. Yeah, Oscar, intelligent. He's an intelligent guy.
Definitely watching my mouth the rest of the show.
Yeah.
He just seemed unbothered, man.
Yeah, and another call. Let me take this call here, and then I'm going to ask you guys a question. Calling you on Live with Nothing But Knicks. What's poppin'?
Hey,
Hello?
Tim, how you doing? It's JP.
JP, how you doing? Hey, can you turn that? Can you turn that down in the background just a little bit?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I took it down.
Oh,
Hello?
yeah, I'm here. How you doing?
Man, so I didn't really call. Well, good night. I hope everything is well. Shout
Yeah,
out to
everything
the chat.
is good. Everything is good.
I personally called to speak to your guests.
Okay, they're here.
Craig and Barry, man. I love Craig. I mean, from his, Ron Baker's hair to Melo's headband to, I mean, have you listened to his podcast, Tim?
Yes, I have.
Hilarious. His creativity is just, I just have to call because his podcast was one of the first ones that I found, and I enjoyed it so much that it pretty much, I guess because of that, I started seeking out different Knicks platforms. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, this guy, he's great, man. So I just want to give him a shout out, and for all the time he puts out for these podcasts and stuff like that, because they're hilarious.
Thanks, JP.
Hilarious.
Yeah,
I love you.
Yeah.
Like I literally listen to them.
I didn't know
at
if
work
anybody
sometimes,
liked that
and
Melo's headband crap.
Oh man, that shit is that is funny. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's funny to me. I mean, when KP was on the beach, I mean, you just come up with the weirdest stuff.
Dude, you're like an OG listener.
Yeah, he was very bad.
And I actually thought you were lying when you said that Barry, taped the podcast in the bathroom. The dude is really in the bathroom.
Oh, look at those flowers. Barry, show everyone the bathroom. Spin the camera. Look at that.
I mean, and Tim, in the beginning, he painted out
That is the
Barry to be
Barry
like
studio.
that bandwagon Knicks fan, and all of a sudden Barry disappeared. Like, he's a Knicks fan again. I'm like, this stuff is priceless.
Barry, show.
Yeah.
Do you have the mic that you use for the show?
Oh man, this dude. I mean.
You got to show that.
It's just the mic. I don't have the mic stand. If that's what you're talking.
Barry's mic stand is a tissue box, right?
Where do you come up with this stuff? Like, I just have to see. I'm glad to see the face to the voice, because I'm like, this guy is demented with half the stuff that he comes up with.
Yeah.
Like the episode you were using the bathroom and someone was in there and he was looking at you funny, like there's like bathroom etiquette. I'm like, this guy would just come out with this stuff. I'm like, I actually have my coworkers listening to you now. They thought I was crazy. Like, why you know, it's crazy, man. It's good that Sim has all these characters on his show, because you happen to be one of the best ones, in my opinion.
Yeah, there we
Thank
go.
you.
Yeah.
And see that I guess I need to give a thanks to you guys too, because like she said, she started listening to you guys, and then she started searching out shows to listen to.
I'm being serious, because I enjoyed the content so much. I'm like, well, there has to be, you know, other platforms such as this one, and that's when I found yours and Locked On Knicks, and then you had the Knick of Time show, Knicks Fan TV. I pretty much listen to everything, because while I'm at work, I need something to keep me going.
Yeah.
You know, and you guys, I literally don't listen to mainstream media anymore, because I'm getting all my Knicks content from you guys, and then to have Knicks fans who pretty much get everyone under one umbrella, it's just perfect for me.
Where do you work? What do you do? Not where do you work, but
no, of course. No, I work legal. So, you know, sometimes it gets boring, and then there's a lot of work. So you know, just I get a chance to get the work done, but listen to you guys, and it's great. Like every Wednesday, I will sit there waiting for like
legal people.
You know, when is Craig coming out with his stuff? I know you're on your summer hiatus, so it's like every 2 weeks or whatever the case is. But I mean, you're great. How long have you had the podcast? It's been about a year, right?
Yeah, exactly. We started. Yeah. I started it like a year ago. Then Barry joined in like midway through last season, I think. Yeah, 55 shows in. It sounds like you've been there since the beginning. So.
Yeah, they painted Barry out as if he was that fan who just left. Like it's just that they found him.
So
like how much? All true.
Barry, how much did you get paid to be a Knicks fan? How much did you get paid to come back to the Knicks then?
They drew me in, man. I mean, I told the story in the podcast. I think it was only like 3 or 4 games into the season last year. I'd been away from the team forever. Wasn't following them. I caught like the last quarter of a game, and it was just a fun, exciting team to me. I was there, you know, next game night, and I haven't missed a minute since. I just got back in.
Yeah.
Come on, Barry, but how did you really get back into it? How did you really get back into it, Barry?
I don't know where you're going with this.
You just started watching the Knicks. Did I not lure you in with the show?
No,
in a way.
You really didn't.
Get out of here.
Nothing to do with it.
All right.
Sim, I had a question. You indicated a couple months ago that you're gonna have a roundtable before the season starts. Are you guys planning to have a roundtable with all the previous guests that you have? Because that would be great.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking to do. Somewhere around the training camp begins on the 24th. So I'm looking at hopefully the day after the 25th. That's what I'm looking at.
I hope you guys.
I just got to get everybody
I hope
together.
you're able to get your previous guests, including this one, to make multiple appearances throughout the year, because it's very, very good at what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely, and
also, I wanted to give Oscar a shout out. I wanted to wish him well for the upcoming school year. I'm an Oscar fan. Forget about Esco. He's just, when you get up there in that age, you get a little senile. So, just stop hating him. I'm not a Trey Burke hater, but leave Oscar alone, man.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, and then congrats on getting your 40 tickets sold.
Yeah, we got them all sold, and we may even open up another lounge, get another lounge going, and try to get some more people there. So
that would be for another day, or is it the same date?
No, the same date. It might be the same date.
Really? So how you going to be shuttling back to 2 lounges, you'll be a busy man.
Yeah, I might.
Or clone you. Like, how you gonna do that?
I don't know. Well, I'll figure out something. You know,
we may need to have Craig be a substitute.
Or something. Yeah, for real.
Craig's a season ticket holder, I believe, right?
What'd you say,
JP?
I think Craig is a season ticket holder, isn't he?
No, my family had season tickets growing up. I'm not a season ticket holder.
No.
Okay. Because I figured based on what you said, like, you know, it shows that you've been a fan, obviously, based on the title, long-suffering Knicks.
I was at so many of those games in the 90s.
Yeah.
So many.
I'll give Viv a bucket hat, and you know he can go in there and be in double, be my double.
Oh yeah, Viv's there too. I mean, this is the first time I've called where he's been on there. I love your stuff as well, bro. You're good at what you do too.
Appreciate it, JP. Appreciate it.
This is the kind of fans that we need. We don't need to be paying attention to that no-name fan.
Yeah.
As far as what it is, I have no problem with the statement that was made. I mean, you can't just. The thing about it is, you make it. He sells his fandom, and the media picks it up, and it's like, I understand that you don't want to give this guy the attention, but I believe the Knicks had to say something. How often are you gonna allow people to just treat you like a punching bag, and you just sit there and like, we're not taking it?
I agree. Yeah.
These are the kind of fans that the fans that come to your show every three times a week. These are the kind of fans that should be spotlighted.
Yeah.
Not a fan like him.
Yeah.
Because I'm quite sure. I've never heard of that before. Someone sells their fandom. Who does that?
It's crazy. It's crazy. And like Craig said, he needed some money, and he got it. He got it. It's unbelievable to me that somebody bought it. But
you know how many fan base? I mean, as Knicks fans, I get it. We've suffered through a lot. But talk to a Cubs fan, for crying out loud. They waited over 100 years to win a championship. They don't want to. I mean, it just so happened that they won this, but it's not that bad. And it's more importantly like the mismanagement of how we've done things. But I feel like once we, and I do feel that we have the right people in place. I think you'll be able to rectify. They will be able to rectify their previous issues as long as they continue to stay patient.
Yeah.
I mean, if they get, the people that they need and Kristaps resigns, they'll be able to rectify that quickly, and trust me, he's gonna want to come back. I so want to show up to the Garden when the Knicks play the Lakers, and I hope he's there.
Yeah.
And I swear they need to put him on the Videotron so we could just boo him.
They play the Lakers they play the Lakers in February. So that'll be something. Hey JP, I'm gonna let you go because I know I got some people that want to call in.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but have a good night, guys.
All right, have a good one, and see you opening night.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, later. All right. I want to make a quick announcement. Speaking of opening night, the tickets are sold out. But if you would like to sign up to get on the waiting list to open up another lounge, I'm putting the link in the chat right now. All right. You can click on that link, sign up. But I need you to, this is for serious. You've got to be serious about it. Because once I get enough people sign up on the list, then I'll go to the Knicks and say, this is how many people I got. And then I'd have to get the money in within 48 hours. So I would need people to be ready to go just like that. The price is the same, $205 for tickets without a shirt. If you want an NBK shirt, then it's $220. Same price. Sign your name on the waiting list. Once we get enough people on the waiting list, then I'll contact those people and we'll begin to collect money for another lounge opening night. All right, so I'm going to put the link up one more time. All right, because like I said, they are sold out. All right, I'm going to turn my attention away from basketball just really quick. And I want to ask you guys in the chat. And then after I ask you guys this question, I'm going to open it up and bring some people into the room. All right. And this is obviously off basketball. Like I said, what do you guys think about Beckham and the deal? How do you feel about it? I mean, I'm a Giants fan. I wanted him back, although You know, I want him to keep, you know, off the court. I want him to get under control a little bit. He hasn't done anything crazy, but I just want him to be more focused on football. What do you guys think?
Anyone? What's the name of this show?
It's nothing but Knicks, but you know, we jump around a little bit. We jump around a bit. Sometimes we talk boxing. Sometimes we talk music. You know, especially now, it's August. There's nothing going on with the Knicks, but what do you guys think?
I don't watch football. I'm strictly Knicks all the time.
Ah, you don't watch football? Okay.
No.
Viv,
take it.
Good for Beckham, good for the Giants. You know, I think it's been a while since the Giants have signed, or honestly, one of their draft picks to a long-term extension. I think probably. Do you remember? I don't really follow. I follow the NFL in the sense I don't root for a team per se because I've been playing fantasy football pretty much all my life for the last 15 plus years. So I've just been rooting. Yeah, I want my fantasy team to do well, but you know. Just correct me if I'm wrong, Sam. You know, who was the last Giant besides Eli, or since Eli, to have been re-signed to a long-term deal? Was it Pierre-Paul or was it Tuck? I don't think any of those two were.
Pierre-Paul was he wasn't signed to a long-term, really. He was. I think they franchised him, didn't they?
Yeah, I thought they franchised him, but they didn't keep him around after his main rookie deal. Is that right?
Right, after his... Yeah, right. After the rookie deal, they didn't keep him around after, you know, the whole fireworks incident. You know what I mean? You know, he came back the 1 year after the fireworks incident, and then... Was he gone after that year? Or maybe there was another year. Maybe Michael Strahan is the last guy?
But Eli came after Strahan, well after Strahan. I guess. Eli, but. Eli
came after Strahan, but besides Eli, I think Strahan might be the only guy.
Yeah, and look, I just want to bring this back to the Knicks for a moment, but you know, do you remember the last Knicks rookie to be signed to a long-term extension?
The last Knicks rookie to be signed to a long-term extension.
Want to take a guess?
Wait a minute. Let me go through my mental Rolodex, my mental encyclopedia. The last Knick to be signed to a long-term rookie extension. I don't know.
Nari?
Charlie Ward?
There you go, Charlie Ward. Not Gallinari. Charlie Ward. Yep. He was the last Knick rookie to be signed to a long-term extension.
Wow.
Not Gallinari, not David Lee, they didn't draft anybody in the late 90s, so they probably traded all those picks. No one else.
Some great drafting.
Wow. Yeah, that was Ernie Grunfeld, and that was them.
Wow. Well, you know what? That's going to change because KP is going to get. He should get signed long term. He's going to get signed long term. Kevin Knox, I'm pretty positive he's going to end up being signed long term. And hopefully Frank Ntilikina, because turns out to be what we want him to be, and he gets signed long term.
How long was? Oh no, Barry Kofeld was only around for 5 years. I'm looking at the Giants draft history right now. 2005 was when they drafted Tuck, and they drafted. I don't think Jacobs was signed to a long term extension.
I don't think so. No.
I don't think. Biasi? No, not Biasi. No, none of these guys. I will Beatty. Yeah, I think since Eli, no one's had a long-term commitment.
Wow.
For whatever reason. So, look, I think for the Giants' sake, it's important to kind of, reassure that Beckham's going to be around, because clearly, even despite the injury, he's he's still a potential premier wide receiver.
Right.
And it's important to kind of, he still has a connection and impact. So it really makes I think it still makes a difference for the team. Yeah. And it seems like from the initial reports of training camp, it looks like, he's had some pretty positive impact. He hasn't really, he's kind of stayed in line. So that's a good thing to hear.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, if you want to talk a little bit more about the Giants and get a little bit more of the Giants preview, me and the Entertainer did another video made in New York. Just put it in there. I just put the link in the chat. You can check out that video. All right. Go ahead and check that out. I am going to open up, guys. I'm going to open up the group chat. See who's in the group chat. All right. So now it's about to get live, guys. Be ready. It's about to get live. All right. So you guys who are listening, I'm about to enter people into the group chat. So if you hear a little bit of background noise, you know why it is. I just brought in Ant. I'm bringing in Guillermo, bringing in Tony Crow, bringing in Nate, and we about to get it popping now.
Yo.
We are about to get it on. All right. So, what I'm going to do, guys, I got you guys in the chat. I know who's Mark. I've been seeing who's Mark in the regular chat, and who's Mark has been crying and screaming about getting in, and now he's not even here. That's who's Mark all the time, isn't it? Isn't it?
All the time.
All the time. So, yeah. So, Ant, man, I'm gonna start with you, man. I just want to know from what we've been talking about so far tonight, because we're gonna get into a good topic. I got a new segment called Chalk Talk, and for the rest of this offseason, we're just gonna really break down what the Knicks need to do with certain positions and who's gonna play where. But just from what you have heard so far, just give me a quick, what do you think about, what do you want to say to this guy when he comes on Thursday?
Ooh, I'm excited.
And the training camp.
I can't wait.
Training camp rosters, what do you think we need to do? I'm going to give you 30 seconds to open up, and then we're going to move on. We'll get the Guillermo, we'll get the Nate, we'll get the Tony Crow. Well, Tony Crow's already been on. All right. So we'll give you a chance to go ahead and jump in there. Go ahead, Ant. 30 seconds.
All right, shout out to the chat. I can't wait, man. I'm going to be knocking at 10 o'clock. I want the first swing, Sam. Because I'm not arguing with Guillermo. I'm not laughing at Mark. I'm going at him the whole show.
Okay.
So,
I hope he's ready.
He's not. And when it comes to you two guys and you guys at the podcast, I rock with it. When guys like Sam, y'all the reason why ESPN is dying, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Hey. People don't need to go watch ESPN and watch Stephen A. Smith scream and be biased, and we can come to you guys and get knowledgeable information. So
yeah, I love it. Appreciate it. Hey, Nate, we can hear every single crunch. Every single crunch. We can hear it.
Share those chips with us, man. This is not right.
Yo, you took that Isaiah spot tonight.
It was so rhythmic, man.
I had it on mute.
I had to put that on mute too. Dude, I can't hear anything.
It was so smooth and rhythmic, man. I actually didn't mind it. Yeah.
Hey,
it felt good.
I've got people
it was rocking me to sleep.
The dude is eating chips.
Right.
Oh man, it was therapeutic.
Nate, you could have. I'm gonna tell you what, Nate. If you would have put up the brand, don't put it up. But if you would have put up the brand, you probably would have sold about 50,000 bags of chips because you were enjoying those potato chips.
Good. They sound like they were good.
They sound good, man.
How are you eating sideways like that? That's dangerous.
Gotta keep my good side.
Hey, Craig Berry, there is always something happening in this chat. I'm telling you, there is always something going on with these guys, but it's cool. Guillermo, what about you, man?
Yo, man, real quick. First of all, this loser dweeb that y'all gonna bring on Thursday, man. I just want to roast the crap out of him, man. I'm also a diehard soccer fan, right? And I hate when I watch people who literally don't care about the game, but there are a lot of people there, and then when someone scores, they want to be the one to jump on the bar and take pics, they're really into it. So, I mean, if this guy, he's a dweeb, man. He's a cornball. I can't wait to roast him. Think about how stupid you sound, right? You're going over to the Lakers. The Lakers already got a big fan base. You're going to be forgotten. No one's going to care about you. And you're going when LeBron is going there. So you're an extra fair weather fan. The dude's a loser. He probably has no friends. Probably can't get any girls, whatever. But the guy I want to bring up that you guys are talking about bringing in, and I kept saying his name. I think he's a restricted free agent on the Chicago Bulls, is David Nwaba. the Nigerian point guard dude. I understand. Look, to me, I look at him as like that Tony Allen type, the defensive type who would come in, energy guy, slash to the basket, still develop as a point guard. And he's not going to sit there and take away shots from other guys. He's a guy who he knows the limitations, but he's going to be the one to work hard in the backcourt with Frank if they play. Oh, he'd be the guy to come off the bench and harass the opposing team's backcourt. And I think we need guys like that. Like I said, you need guys who are going to help instill that culture of playing defense, being accountable, and all that. And I think, it will help with, offsetting some of the redundant plays that we have in the backcourt. So, yeah.
I think Cleveland signed him, by the way.
Oh, Cleveland.
Okay.
Not to kill.
Well, I mean, he runs redundant. He runs redundant to Colin Sexton. I mean, Colin Sexton is a little bit more dynamic. Don't get me wrong, but man, I'm just trying to think of like some type of trade we could make. But at this point, I don't think Cleveland's going to be contending for a title anytime soon. So it'll probably be tough. But yeah, that type of guy. If we could look for another guard of that ilk, I would love to bring in some guy like that.
Okay, I mean, we got tons of guards though, but. Yeah.
We do, but I mean, look at a guy like Courtney Lee. As much as I like him, I think he put on a raw deal after he missed that layup when he was on the Magic against the Lakers. That's a guy you could get rid of. And then you also have guys like, a guy that I see like David Nwama. That's a guy I see that he could build for the future. Emmanuel Mudiay, as much potential as he may have, I don't think he's here for the future. I think that's a guy you kind of build up and try to sell off at the trading deadline, but. Like I said, man, it's like just like you say with the draft, man, or like an NFL draft. You don't draft based on need necessarily. You draft whoever's the best players coming, right? If you have Odell Beckham, do you reject Randy Moss if he came in the draft? So that's how I look at it, man. You just try to bring on talent that kind of fits your culture, kind of fits your team, and then you make, you have a bad problem. You have a good problem when you have a lot of talent. You can kind of cut the fat that you don't need.
Right. Nate, where are you on it, man?
Nate, oh man. First off, I have a proposal for how to get that last training camp spot. So I think you should take some of your best players out of the Westchester Knicks and allow them to try out with the Knicks and see who can earn a training camp spot. I mean, what better way to find talent than to get it from your G League affiliate? I mean, see what you got in place for the future. In some aspects, I think that would be a really good opportunity to not only give them some experience playing against higher tier players, but also too, hey, maybe they might call them up later, So
okay.
That would be my recommendation for that last training camp spot.
I think the only thing there is they're going to be looking at those guys anyway. What I would do with that last spot or last two spots is I'd be looking for veterans who's coming off an injury, people who are looking to reclaim their careers, some of those type of things. Some very, very long shots that at one point in their life maybe were projected to be something as far as basketball is concerned. Projected to be a very good player or whatever it is, and they had something in their life happen or an injury or something happened where it didn't turn out that way or they just didn't reach their potential. I'd be looking for guys like that, that you can get, for that you can get for a bag of the chips that you have.
Exactly. Another thing to consider too is maybe even going overseas. Not necessarily getting our draft and stash players, but maybe looking to see what our European scouts are looking at and see if there's anybody who they think might fit Fizdale's system and see what he wants to do and bring him over and see if maybe, he can earn himself a spot. I mean, all you need is one chance.
Yeah.
And you look at all kinds of sports, some of these people that nobody ever even heard of, just killed it in training camp. And then before you know it, they're a starter or they're on the roster. So,
that happens. That's what those spots are for, to take chances on guys and see what's out there. I got Ron Cleveland on the line. Ron Cleveland, what's popping, man?
Man.
What's going on, Ron? What's up? Hey, Ron Cleveland, can you hear me?
What up?
Man. Go. What's up, Ron?
He fell asleep.
Man.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Man, hey, man. Man, it's a good time to be a Knicks fan. We're getting closer to opening night. I'm predicting we're gonna win. We're gonna win for Fizz, man. Hey, that's the campaign. We winning for Fizz, man. First game of the season, we gonna put a beat down on Atlanta, man. They're gonna get embarrassed.
Okay, I hope so. I hope so.
I hope so too.
Look at Atlanta roster. Anything on Atlanta scare you?
Don't matter. Knicks have lost the worst.
I mean, nothing on Atlanta scares me, but listen, the Knicks, there's been a lot of times when we played teams that don't scare us and we lose by 30. So,
well,
this is gonna be a different team. This is a different team, but
yeah, exactly. That's been when we thought we were better than what we was. But right now, knowing that we rebuilding, we trying to build something, them boys gonna come out there. I'm telling you, I'm predicting, man, it's gonna be a blowout opening night. We gonna go out there. We gonna try to smash them boys and send a message to the Eastern Conference.
Send a message to the league.
Smash it.
Man, send a message to that Atlantic Division, huh? Exactly. I hope so. Trust me, I hope so.
Tim, it's wide open, man. Think about it. It is really wide open. Other than Boston, even with the Raptors, with everybody talking about the Raptors. I mean, man.
I don't know, Ron.
Do we really? I don't know what the Raptors gonna be.
Right, they're gonna be good. They're gonna be good. They're gonna be good. You got Boston, you got the Raptors, you got Philly, you got Washington, you got Milwaukee, Indiana.
Yeah, every team and every one of them teams you call them flawed. In some sense, they're flawed.
Yeah, I mean they're all flawed. Everyone's flawed except for Golden State, right?
But everyone flawed in the East except for Boston.
Okay, all right.
If the Bucks know how to shoot,
right there, they're the benchmark.
All right, well, hey, listen. I want the Knicks to have the best season possible. I guess maybe I'm in with 50% of the people. Barry, Craig, where are you guys at on the tank?
Well, first of all, this Paul has got a lot of optimism. So, I mean, I like his optimism, but I mean, to say that it's wide open for the Knicks, I think Vegas is pretty spot on with their prediction at 29.5. I see them in a couple more games than that, but not much. But as far as tanking, no, I don't want to see him tank. I want to see him go out there. I want to see him compete. The chips are going to fall where they fall. But yeah, I think you got to go out there. You're in your rebirth. You got to set the tone now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see tanking as a benefit for them.
I agree. And Craig,
I'm not trying to tank either. But I'm also not playing vets, and I'm not doing what Hornacek did last year. Just play our young guys as many minutes as possible, and whatever happens, happens. If we end up with a great draft pick because we didn't play that well, fine. If we end up with a better record than we thought and a worse draft pick, great. Because at least it was from our young guys, Yeah. So that's where I'm at.
That is exactly where I am. Play the young guys, and then wherever it falls is what we take. I think that's the best way to do it.
Exactly. And when you look at when I'm talking about the East, man, when you look about the East, this is the first time the East been this wide open. When I say wide open, everybody know Boston is the benchmark. There's no disputing that. But when you look at the rest of these teams, all these other teams, you know what they were doing? They were trying to build a team to try to catch LeBron. And none of those teams, even Toronto, them jokers they were scared of LeBron. And Indiana, nobody can tell me that coming into the season last year, they thought Indiana was going to be the kind of team they was. When they traded off Oladipo from OKC to Indiana, everybody was looking at that trade like, hey, them boys just getting rid of Oladipo, and Oladipo wasn't looking like he was going to be what they projected him to be. But once he got to Indiana, the kid started balling. So when you look at that team and the Raptors, I mean, you got Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard ain't invested in that team, man. He gonna leave there. That joker out there doing pickup games with LeBron, he gonna be in LA next year.
Well, all right.
So when you think about all that's going on, the East is wide open. All the rest, every team in the East is young. Milwaukee, They in flux. They lost Jabari Parker. And when you think about that team, they lost their coach last year, so now you bringing in a new coach. The identity of that team, they're trying to find an identity. The East is wide open, man. Other than Boston, and I'm gonna stick out to it. Don't be surprised if our Knicks make the playoffs. I'm telling you right now, don't be surprised between the 6 and 8 seed if we make the playoffs.
All right. Well, I'll be rooting for them to make the playoffs. I'll be definitely rooting.
And I gotta address that bum who traded his Knicks fandom. I wouldn't even say that, man.
All right, I'm gonna give you 30 seconds though, because I got another call on the line.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go. But when you're talking about a fan of somebody who ride with this team no matter what, that's your team. This clown talking about selling. I agree with them guys earlier, man. That dude must have just been harder for some money. He probably a bum. He probably sleeping in his mom's basement, and he'll be the first one trying to come back to the Knicks. So with that, Sim, hey man, keep doing what you're doing.
All right.
The Knicks are back. You heard me?
There we go.
Man. And I'm going to be in NYC opening night. You heard me?
All right. Oh, you're going to be there. All right.
I'm going to be there, and I'm going to have my shirt on just like I told you. And you'll know I'm in the building.
All right, no doubt. All right, Ron.
All right,
I'll talk to you later. Peace.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Question. This is what I want to get. I didn't hear that. I don't know what that was. That sounded like Charlie Brown's teacher. I don't know what happened there. But I want to ask. I got a new segment, Chalk Talk, and hopefully this is going to get us through the rest of the off season and just really breaking down the team position by position and where we think Fizdale can and might use people. My first question with this is about our center position, and defensively, what are we going to do? And I think I actually got this from Knicks Film School, I believe. I believe it was Knicks Film School who threw up a stat on Twitter earlier today, and it just got me thinking about it. I forgot what the stat is, but and that's Cantor. We know what he can do offensively. We know what he can do as far as rebounding. Defensively is the issue, especially in those pick and rolls, right? How are we going to mask Enes Kanter's defensive woes? Because he's going to get playing time. As a matter of fact, it's not just Kanter. A lot of people believe Trey Burke is going to start, right? There's going to be some Mark. There goes Mark already. Mark, all I said is what people believe, man. You're already losing your top. But anyway, some people believe that Trey Burke is going to start. So then you know what defensive issues that's going to bring. Tim Hardaway is going to start. We know what issues that's going to bring defensively. And then you got Enes Kanter, right? I mean, I'm not just going to say Tim Hardaway can't play defense, but he hasn't been historically hasn't been a great defender, right? I'm going to say less than average. He worked hard. I think he played better last year defensively. But you're talking about at least 3 players right now, if Trey Burke is in the starting lineup, that may have some issues defensively. What do we do? How are we going to mask that? In my opinion, one of the things you can do is not start Trey Burke and start Frank Ntilikina, right? Because then you got defense at the point of attack, right? Your point guard position is your point of attack. You got defense at the point of attack, right? I don't know. What do you guys think? Barry, Craig, where you guys at on how are we going to mask? What will Fizdale do? Obviously, he's going to try to motivate them to play hard and work hard. But in my opinion, if a player doesn't have it defensively, they don't have it defensively. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, if Trey, like you said, Trey, Hardaway Jr. and Kanter are all starting. We know Kanter and Hardaway are likely to start.
Right.
If Trey's with them, like you said, I mean, Fizdale better be a defensive genius because there's no masking 3 guys like that.
Yeah.
But that's the best evidence for starting Ntilikina. There's no way he's starting Burke with those other two.
Exactly. I mean, how can you can't mask it. If you have one guy in your lineup, you can mask. You can do some things for that guy, right? If you have two, it's getting tougher, but you can do some things. If you have three guys that are really defensively deficient, I don't know if there's anything that you can do about it. Barry,
meanwhile, if Knox is playing, what is he? Is he good defensively? No.
We don't even know.
Does anyone know if Hezonja is good defensively? I don't know. I don't even know.
Yeah.
You got 5 guys who don't play defense?
Yeah.
There's no way Frank's not starting.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I know. I don't know we don't know what Knox is going to be able to do in the NBA. In college, I didn't really see him enough, watch him enough until the end when we really started paying attention to the draft. When I started paying attention to the draft, but I didn't watch enough games to see exactly what he can do defensively. Barry, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, as much as I do think Trey is going to succeed this year, and he is a baller, and his offensive game, I think, is going to continue to be on par where it was. You're right. You got to look at both sides of the floor, and you got to find a balance in these rotations. And with the rotation you just said, it was a starting lineup. I think, that's the perfect point for keeping Ntilikina in there and letting Trey come in off the bench.
Yeah. And then I think behind with Cantor, you got to have a 4, in my opinion, that can play defense as well.
Yeah. And the other thing, you got to hope that Mitchell Robinson is on some sort of fast track, because we saw what he could do defensively. You just got to hope that he's not lagging too far behind, so he can get his minutes in there and at least have a defensive presence on the floor.
Robinson's going to have to guard 5 guys at once out there.
Well, he can.
Running all over.
He can. He gets from one side of the floor to the other.
And I think to help Cantor down there, we're gonna have to. We'll need a 4 that can play defense. Without KP here to be that weak side shot blocker, that's where Robinson can really fit in if he can come in and do that for us. Without KP.
Towards the end
here.
of the season, in next season when you got maybe Robinson at the 5 next year alongside KP at the 4, you got Ntilikina there. Now you're defensive heavy.
Yeah. I'm gonna see who's Mark has to say as soon as he finishes brushing his hair. Mark.
Hey man, yo, what's going on, Sim?
What's up, Mark? What's going on with you, man?
Listen, man. Why are we bringing up Amar'e Stoudemire? Why is he in this chat room?
Hey, Mark, that was like an hour ago.
You know what you need?
That's like an hour ago.
You need to put a timeout button on people that say outlandish stuff like that. Why are we looking at Amar'e? Why are we even talking about Amar'e?
Hey, Mark, check this out. Tony Crow brought up Amar'e, and if you look at the screen, he's right next to you on the screen. You can holler at him.
He can't hear me because his thing's always messed up. But like I was saying, okay.
Dude, the hair looks perfect, by the way.
I gotta get my waves back, so you gotta keep brushing. But anyway, with Cantor, he's gonna be a 20 to 25 minute guy, depending on matchup, depending on whatever team he plays. He's gonna be like a matchup type of person, but he cannot stay on the floor when teams go small. He's bad on pick and roll. Trey Burke, if you want him to start, you might as well just say, we tanking the season, because point guard is gonna go at him, and we're gonna be losing games early and out, because number one, like I'm telling people think that we're going to win more than 29 games. I just want to know where the hell we're going to get 20 points from. A consistent scorer. That's my whole thing.
All right, well, let's talk about the defense, though. Let's finish talking about the defense first.
Well, what do
we do to help Cantor down there? How do we help him?
Well, the Golden Goose KP ain't there, so that is a big minus, because he elevates the defense and he makes great winning plays. Other than that, me personally, I will put Mitchell in. I'll let him play about 15 to 20 minutes, give him a little taste of what the NBA is, so he can get used to the speed early, and don't have how we had Frank last year playing 20 minutes and he didn't even get taste of the speed. So with the guards, I'm starting Frank just because of defensive purposes. And I want him out there more than 25 to 30 minutes a game. Hezonja, he's not a good defensive player. I watch him in Orlando, but he can, if he's motivated, he can be, because with me, he has a lot of grit in him. He wants to play. He wants to be better. But Orlando don't know how to utilize their players. Tim Hardaway, he was out of position last year. He had to play a lot of threes, and that really killed him and made him really look bad. But I think he can hold his weight from time to time. But like I said, with Kevin Knox, he's going to have to show us that he can move his feet, because he's very flat-footed. He has similar feet to Kanter. If you watch him, because it's going to be hard for him to guard guys like Kawhi, LeBron, Kevin Durant, Paul George. He's going to have to guard those guys, and they ain't easy players to guard. So he's going to have to take that on. Right. I'm telling you, man, we're not going to win these games. We're not going to win these games that Vegas is talking about, because number one, we struggled last year to even try to score 100 points, even with our best player at the time, Porzingis, on the floor. So where are we going to get these extra points from? Because not everybody on the bench is consistent. We don't know who's consistent. We don't know what our defense looks like. We don't know what our offense looks like. So y'all tell me, since y'all all optimistic. I'm just trying to be a realist here.
All right. I don't know, but we're gonna keep talking about the defense first, then we talk about that. All right. Also, Kanter has problems in the screen and roll.
Oh, right? Kevin Durant is chewing him up.
Right. He has problems in the screen and roll. Where, what do we do to help him? One, we need to get him looking at film and understanding. I've seen video of him working out, playing defense, trying to get in shape. I don't want to see
him shoot threes.
But it's not just, him moving his feet. It's him understanding those rotations, where to move, how to hedge the ball handler, then get back to his man.
Sim, it's not his second year in the league. This is stuff he should.
I know.
Stuff up. I don't know if his coaching staff's gonna have a magic wand. They can all.
But we haven't had a defensive-minded coach.
What'd you say, Nate? You said we haven't had a defensive-minded coach.
I would argue is that for the Knicks, we've never really had a defensive-minded coach. Since I can't remember the last defensive-minded coach. Maybe Van Gundy. That was actually. Oh, Woodson. Okay, Woodson.
Yeah.
So Woodson was our last defensive coach. So give him an opportunity. See what he can do with Fizdale. Fizdale knows defense. He's not a slouch on the defensive side. I will say this, that I think that this starting five is not going to be intact all year. I think I could see Fizdale in this kind of year going with different lineups at different times, going with the hot players or the hot hands, especially on the defensive end. You talk about with Ntilikina, maybe Hardaway plays the 2. Maybe they bring in Hezonja at the 3. Maybe put Knox at the 4 or Kanter at the 5. You got to bring in some kind of athleticism or defender that's going to mask somebody who's not a very good defender. So, right. I think he's going to play with the lineup a lot this year.
Yeah. Nate, don't listen to Mark talking to you because you're live and we can't hear Mark.
No. Yeah, I disagree with that. I think Knox is athletic enough to do that. I think that he's going to be a nightmare for 4 people on the other side, and I think that they will play with Knox at the 4 or the 3. But more so, you're going to have to get guys that are athletic, that can move their feet well, that can mask a guy like Kanter. Because you saw last year Kanter, he didn't play any in the fourth quarter. Hornacek would never put him in the fourth quarter because defense was just so bad. But we struggled with the rebounding a lot of the times. So, I think Mitchell will get burned. But I'll tell you what, Noah Vonleh, I think, could very well be an intriguing part because he's an athletic guy. But, I don't know if he's a shot blocker, but he might be able to stay in front of people better than Kanter will. So I could definitely see him getting some burn. Or even Dotson. I know a lot of people don't like Dotson, but Dotson was one of the second best defenders on the team last year. If you look at the stats,
I definitely agree. I definitely agree that Vonleh is going to be he's going to be important as far as being able to switch off onto, we're talking about positionless basketball, being able to switch off on multiple defenders, right? Being able to switch off on a 4, switch off on a 5, switch off onto a 3. And I think he'll be important.
And like I said, Fizdale's a guy that's made it very clear that I don't think he's handing out any positions, and he's going to make them work in training camp. And who knows, this starting lineup could be completely different than what we're even talking about.
You're right.
Which is fine by me. I mean, as long as you put the best roster out there on the court and win, and you're trying to win games, I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to be competitive defensively, that's for sure. I'm tired of seeing the Knicks just getting killed left and right by no-name point guards every freaking game.
Yeah. Viv, what do you think, man? How do we help Cantor out in those pick and roll situations? We don't have, besides Mitchell Robinson, and hopefully Mitchell Robinson's on the floor a lot, we don't have that weak side shot blocker on the floor, at least in that starting lineup, unless Mitchell Robinson starts. How do we help Cantor out, especially in that pick and roll, though?
Well, first thing first, I don't think Mitchell Robinson's as ready as some of us think he is. He's still got a long ways to go. But to connect to that, I think we have to look at it from 2 angles. First angle is, is there something, like a physical limitation, to why, he can't move his feet? Or that could not just apply to Cantor. That could, apply to anybody, for example. See if there's any physical limitations. Then you can look at, okay, is he doing something wrong, moving his feet around, guarding people on the pick and roll, etc. Just those are the individual aspects. The second aspect is really the toughest part, and I think that's really what's killed us, all these years, is that its defense is really connected to how the team, communicates with each other.
Exactly.
And, the different strategies that you have implement. A lot of the strategies, I believe, we just kind of let the paint, we just kept the paint open on defense. That was pretty much our strategy. And then there's really been no coherent message on defense in the last 5-6 years. No one really knows no coach really figured out, what they wanted to implement on defense. Part of that is because we've had this turnover of players, but we need to figure out what we want to do on defense and then actually practice it and implement it on an everyday, daily basis.
Yeah, I agree. And I go back to what Barry said when he said Cantor's been in the league for what Barry, 7 years, 8 years, or whatever it is. I mean,
about 6 years.
Yeah, 6 years. If you haven't gotten it, and I don't know how much teaching they are actually doing. The coaches are teaching.
Weird because Viv mentioned maybe it's a lack of footwork, but he moves good around the basket. He's good down in the post. He's got some moves, but yeah, it just doesn't translate to him covering a game.
Also, some players have concentration issues too, so that's something that's also harder to fix.
Right. But then going back to what Craig has been saying, it's more the reason why Frank needs to be on the floor, because Frank, in my opinion, can help mask Cantor's deficiency in that pick and roll, because he's so long. Frank can help out on Cantor's man rolling to the basket and still be able to get back to his man because his arms are so long. He really, in my opinion, helps out in that screen and roll. And he'll be able to. And I see him on the floor. He talks a lot, and I see him telling people where to be and where to go. And I think he's one person that. Now, that can help Cantor in that at least 1-5, or whoever is being the ball handler in those screen and roll situations. Fizdale can put Frank on him if he's in the game. That can help Cantor out, because it may not always be the point guard. Sometimes it may be the 2, it may be the 3, and whoever is handling that pick and roll, pick and pop responsibilities for the opposite team. You can have Frank guard that wing player, to help out there. But I think that's going to be a situation that I think Fizdale has to deal with, and like you said, that's part of the reason why Cantor wasn't on the floor in the fourth quarter. If Cantor could play defense, I think he'd be an all-star. Ant, what do you think, man?
I think when Cantor's on the floor, we're gonna need guys like Lance Thomas, who can get placed on 4 minutes, Honestly, I think a guy like Anthony Tolliver would have been perfect. A vet that can come in and just spell some minutes at the four, play defense, knock down shots. I don't know if the answer's on the team right now, but it may just be something we have to play through. We could double the ball handler on the pick and roll. I guess there's some stuff we could do to, make it a little more difficult. But Kanter is never going to be a good pick and roll defender. So,
yeah, I agree with you there.
I think it's some strategies we can use to make it a little difficult.
Yeah, I think.
Hello, Sim?
Yeah, I got you, Isaiah. I think. I think Lance. And people are gonna scoff at me, but I think Lance Thomas becomes important in this situation because he can play defense and he can play that 4 spot, so he can help out down there. People want to laugh at Lance because he doesn't score and all those type of things and say get him off the team. But I think he can be very valuable if he plays that 4 spot. You know what I mean? Isaiah, what's your take on the situation, man?
Listen, man. We need to find players that love defense like Nate Dogg love them chips. Lord, geez, that boy love them chips. Jesus. But
like you love the chicken or the pudding pops.
The pudding pops.
Hey, listen, man. Them pudding and that applesauce, they go down. Don't disrespect. But seriously though, when I was in the chat, he's funny. I was telling them that it's obvious who's going to start to me as point guard is going to be Frank, because I said this. I said, who's the first team we face? The Hawks. Who's the point guard? Trey Young. Do you really want Trey Burke having his first crack at Trey Young in the Garden? That's a recipe for Trey Young to go crazy and the whole headline's blowing up. Listen, no. Listen, I'm telling everybody in the chat right now, Fizdale is not going to start Kanter, Tim Hardaway, and Trey Burke, and a rookie and Kevin Knox and Mario Hezonja. He's not. He's not going to do that. That is by far a Jeff Hornacek type of thing. He's not going to do that. You got to have somebody defend. Somebody has to play defense. People want to talk, people talk about the scoring of the Warriors, and this is how people don't know basketball. They actually play defense. They switch a lot, but they play defense. Mm-hmm. And that's really one of the things that people got to understand. Yeah, you see the threes, but you don't see the defense. And everybody knows they hide Steph Curry. Steph Curry is the only one in that starting 5 that can't play defense. He's really it, and that's why they can hide him. You can't if you want to be a championship team, you can't have 3 of your players not play defense. You got to have at least 1 and maybe 2 not play defense, and the other 3 can mask the defense. You can't have 3 of your starters not be able to play defense.
I agree.
That's not every championship team. Everybody has that one player that can't play defense. Every can hide that. But if you want to really contend, you can't have 3 out of your 5 players not play defense. That's just,
I agree with you.
It's just not going to happen.
I agree with you. And the one thing that you have to. It gets tough. It gets tough. We gotta hope that guys are able to. Let's put it like this. And I know I'm bumbling over myself right now because I didn't have my thoughts together before I started saying it. But let's just say Tim Hardaway is in training camp and he's in practice. You can look good in practice, right? Why? Because you know the sets that your team is running. So you can look really, really good in practice. And you put the effort out there, you can look good. But when you get in a game and now you're caught and you have to make a decision, your basketball IQ comes into play, right? What defensively comes into play. That's where some of our guys are in trouble. I am one of the guys, I do not believe Tim Hardaway has a big, high basketball IQ. So that's why I can see him get in trouble defensively sometimes because he's not sure what to do in certain situations. His defensive instinct doesn't take him there. And when you have to think about it, that's when you get in trouble because you pause and you stop. And then by the time you make the decision you need to make, the play's already gone ahead of you. Some of it has to do with the basketball IQ of the players, which why, Frank, to me, he just has defensive instincts and the IQ. He understands where to be. He just knows. He doesn't really have to think about it. He just knows where to be and how to get there. I'm just amazed at the way that he fights over screens. I've never seen a guard fight over screens the way that he fights over screens.
He's only 20, by the way. He's only 20.
He's only 20. He's only 20. He fights over screens. I've seen him come down and play defense on 2 and 3 guys. He's like from here, boom, 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 covering 2 or 3 guys until his teammates get back. That's the kind of, and some of that is just basketball IQ, knowing how to have the right space and the right footing on the floor, the right angles and things like that. And we don't have guys that have that.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah. Knock this one up because I know I got some.
I'm gonna go on up here after this. One of the biggest crimes that Jeff Hornacek did that really pissed me off, and this was probably his top 3 sins. This man he preached defense, but he only played KP and Frank 300 minutes versus Jarrett Jack with over 1,000 minutes. When I tell you that is one of the reasons he got fired, that irks my soul.
It is the reason.
That you do not let if people want, and if Frank haters want to always get on Frank and talk about he sucks, but you can't show your potential if you play 300 minutes with our star. You're a point guard trying to learn the NBA. You got to make the game easy, and you want to only play Frank 300 minutes with KP versus Jarrett Jack with 1,000.
Yeah, well, Hornacek was playing for his. Hornacek was playing for his job. Fizdale.
Jarrett Jack was going to save his job. Jarrett Jack was going to help us win.
I mean, but at the time though, Jarrett Jack probably gave the team its best chance to win, and I think Hornacek was doing whatever he could. I think Hornacek was doing whatever he could to try to save his job. I don't know. Fizdale doesn't have that issue. This is Scott Perry. This is his guy. You know what I mean? Isaiah, I'm gonna let you go, man. I'm gonna let you go.
I'm gonna hop on the chat.
All right. All right, lady. Barry, Craig, what do you guys take on the Guillermo? I got you. I'm coming to you, Guillermo. I ain't forget about you, man. I ain't forget about you. I got you. All right, let me get to Guillermo and then I'll ask you the question. Let me get to Guillermo. And I don't want Guillermo to get mad because I've seen Guillermo get mad. And when Guillermo gets mad, like he strikes. I don't want him to get mad at me. What's up, Guillermo? What's going on, man?
All I gotta say, man, y'all better be lucky I'm not a coach, man, because all y'all talking about, y'all have no idea what the hell y'all talking about basketball. This guy asked y'all a simple question. How do you defend the pick and roll? How do you help a big guy who has awful hips at defense? So let me start with the pick and roll. There's so many ways to help a sluggish, awful big guy on a pick and roll. One, what I think we have to do first and foremost, you have to have a backcourt. One of the ways you could do it, you should have a backcourt or at least a point guard who can harass the ball carrier. What you want to do, right? Because the big man is usually going to be in the center, right? And there's too much space for him to decide. And a guy like Kanter, he's goofy, right? You want to have it so that the point guard forces the ball handler into one of the sides. You want to make him have a disadvantage so he can't come into the middle of the court. So he's wasting time trying to wait for the big man to come and set the pick. But if I cut him off and force him baseline or force him more on the baseline where he's probably a little bit more uncomfortable, the whole play breaks down. What he's going to do, drive on a baseline straight into Kanter? So that's one way you could do it with a guy who sucks, a big guy who sucks and can't guard the middle. Another way you could do it is what Roy Hibbert used to do. Now, don't get me wrong. Roy Hibbert's prime, he was a great defender. He was a great defender for the Pacers. I'm not comparing Kanter to Hibbert. What you also do is that when they set the pick and roll, you can have Kanter slag off and almost play like a zone type defense in the near the foul line. So it basically gives him time to basically see where the ball carrier is coming and gives a better angle versus being at a disadvantage and being caught in a pick and roll. You also do other things where basically you can have him cheat and basically switch until the other guy recovers. There's so many different things you can do. But what I think essentially the best thing for the Knicks to do is to have a guy like Frank Ntilikina basically force the ball carriers into bad positions on the court where they're basically on the sideline or on the baseline. And you can also trap. So another thing you can also do on a pick and roll, this is team to team. Now, if you're playing a team like, say, the Bucks don't improve their three-point shooting, right? You're going to have it where that, say they do the pick and roll, right? You're going to have a defender that's coming where if the ball carrier is coming around, now he's one-on-one with Kanter, you're going to have the defender who's on one of the players on the perimeter come and double team and trap him. Because think about it. If I'm coming, I'm ready to drive on Kansas, I'm ready to do whatever. If I know I'm not a good three-point shooting team, I'm going to hesitate to pass to the guy on the perimeter. And even if I pass to the guy on the guy on the perimeter might hesitate to shoot because he's not a good three-point shooter. He might be trying to look to come and drive, which plays into our advantage because we already have a guy there. And then Kansas can take the block. Kansas can take the charge. We have it at our advantage. So essentially what you do is basically have either Kansas kind of slag all play in a zone type of role, and or you have your point guard to harass the guys and put them at disadvantageous positions. That's how you defend the pick and roll. Okay. That's how you help crappy big men defend ball carriers.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Good work, Guillermo. Good work. Good job.
Excuse me. Call me Phil Jackson, by the way. Don't call me Guillermo.
Call you Phil. That might not be the most popular name here in New York, man. Come on.
Oh, crap. All right, yo, my bad. Red Auerbach or somebody else. I forgot. Phil Jackson.
Yeah, there you go.
Awful job. My bad. I'm sorry. Big Red, man.
And you know, one of the things that I would like to see, I think Hornacek did it once or twice last year. And in the NBA, you can't do it all the time. But I would like to see a few minutes every quarter where the Knicks actually press up full court. You know what I'm saying? Because then you can take some of that. You can take some of that pick and roll half court stuff out of the equation, because now if you're pressing the full court, you get the shot clock running down a little bit. Now they get pushed into maybe playing some hero ball. Now, but you got to have defenders that can rotate and get back and know how to play and fill the gaps.
Hey, Sam, can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, my bad, Sam. Yeah. Another thing that OKC did in the year that they lost to the Golden State, and I think it serves as two purposes. One, it gets a weaker defender off the court, right? And two, it gives time to Mitchell Robinson. What they did excellently against the Golden State Warriors is that on offensive possessions in tight games with OKC and offensive possessions, they would have Cantor on for the pick and roll, which at Golden State, go back and watch the series. OKC, Golden State could not defend that pick and roll at all. Cantor was on fire with Russ Westbrook. And what they did, every time there's a dead ball, they'll bring back in Adams on defense. Now, I'm not saying we're going to be in the playoffs or anything, but literally, hey, Cantor, you know you're going to be a free agent. You know you need to look good for whatever teams you want to go to next year or whatever, if we're not able to trade you. As a punishment, if we'll start this off in the third quarter, for every offensive possession, you'll play the pick and roll, do whatever, do your business down low because you're good low post offensive player. And on defense, we're going to sit you out for Mitchell until you learn how to play better defense. Another thing, use those 6 damn fouls, man. I'm tired of watching these New York Knicks sit there and literally they're not throwing elbows at people. Look, if Draymond Green can sit there, kick guys in the balls, drop kick dudes and all this stuff, and he only gets little friggins here and there, you got 6 fouls, bro. You need to use those damn 6 fouls, man. And I'm not saying you have to be dirty, but this is why I love Oakley. This is why I love those New York Knicks. They use every inch of whatever talent, whatever rules they can bend to their advantage. All right, I might get 3 fouls earlier in the first quarter, but I know Trey Young is not going to come back and do all this jack.
All right, Guillermo was going on one of his tangents. He was getting into it. He cut Viv off and jumped in, let him get it. I thought he was going to go on for like maybe 10 seconds. He went on for another 5 minutes. Viv, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, Guillermo brought up good strategies and stuff. The problem is that every time that they have a good strategy, they just like give up in the middle of the first quarter or the middle of whatever quarter it is, and then they just they just go back to whatever bad habits they're doing. So they have to figure out, they have to develop these habits, and they have to stick to whatever plan they decide to go with.
Right.
I like the idea of icing pick and rolls. The problem is that this team, they'll just give up. Every 1 point of resistance or whatever, and then all of a sudden they're gone. So they have to be persistent. That's all they got to do.
Yeah, and that's a big part of defense, being able to play defense for 30 seconds. We didn't do that last year. We'll see if we can do it this year. So I want to ask Craig and Barry, where are you guys at with the Porzingis situation as far as a contract extension? Barry, what do you think?
Go ahead, Craig.
Yep. He threw it to you, Craig.
What do I think of the Porzingis contract situation? I mean, no matter what, unless he comes back this season and gets injured again, no matter what, I want to sign him to an extension. Mm-hmm. Guillermo doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Guillermo, what do you want?
All right. Let me see. You asked Guillermo.
No,
What'd you say, Guillermo?
No, I didn't want to interrupt him. My bad. I didn't mean to make such a. Again, this is old school Knicks thinking, man. Like, we have to have a meritocracy, bro. If this guy's knee is not the same and he's averaging 5 less points and he's not explosive, why would we sign him to a big deal? What has he done? We have won no playoff. You guys, look. I can't even understand the Odell Beckham thing. At least he can make circus catches, whatever. He puts up 1,000 yards, whatever. What has KP done? After 20 games, the guy said he was tired. Come on, man. I like KP's talent until I see him win some playoff games. Why we sign him to a long-term deal? He hasn't proven it. Let the Kings go and sign him and let them continue to destroy the franchise. I love KP. I love his talent. He hasn't proved. He's not worth it yet, man. Come on, man.
All right. Craig, what were you saying?
Craig.
What were you? What were you saying, Craig?
I mean, that was it. I think I love KP. I'm a huge KP fan. I think. What? How can't you? Like at the beginning of last season, I mean, before he got injured, I think a lot of us thought he would one day become like one of the top 5-7 players in the NBA. You know, MVP caliber. Mm-hmm. He does so much offensively, defensively, and honestly, I think he's going to come back really strong. I know that who knows how he's going to come back, but I think his game is going to be fine. For he shoots from deep. He's not. We all know he's not that athletic. I mean, for a 7'3" guy, he's athletic, but it's very awkward coming down. Right. I mean, he doesn't need to do much to block shots. Listen, I can't wait till he comes back, and he's gonna be here a long time, Guillermo. A long time. Okay.
Barry, where are you at with it, Barry? Barry?
You asked me where I'm at?
Yeah. Where are you at with it? With KP?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you're saying that he hasn't shown us what he could do. Yeah, he hasn't brought us a championship. He hasn't brought us to the playoffs. He's only one guy. I mean, look at the supporting cast. He has proven what he can do, what he's capable of. Obviously, like everybody else, I hope the injuries don't linger. I think he's training the right way. I think he can come back from this stronger. We've seen it with other instances with this type of injury.
Yeah, in the chat, they call me a KP hater. I'm not. I love KP. I like KP. I am a big KP fan, but I'm kind of with Guillermo on it. You know what I mean? I want to see what he does when he comes back from injury. Like if let's say if KP doesn't play at all next year, this upcoming season, if I'm Scott Perry, I don't even know what to do. Hold up 1 second, Esco. If I'm Scott Perry, then I don't even know what to do. I'm caught because I don't want to give a player this huge contract that hasn't played in a year. That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be real tough.
If he doesn't play this entire season, then there's a problem because I mean, that injury took place the beginning of February.
Yeah.
If you're telling me he's not capable of playing in at least a year's time with coming back from that injury, something's wrong.
Maybe something's wrong with it.
He's eager to get back on the floor. I think he's eager to show what he has. I think he wants to entice other free agents in the market to come back to show that he is what he was. I think he's coming back. I think he's coming back earlier than a lot of people.
Okay. I don't want them to rush him back too early, and I don't want his camp to rush him back simply because there's a contract thing going on either. I want when he comes back, I want him to be able to play.
I don't think they're going to bring him back early because they're trying to rush it. I think he's going to play.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I hope so. I want to see him play this year. Esco. What's popping, Esco? What's going on, man? Hey, you gotta speak into the mic, Esco. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
You're still a little bit mumbled. You gotta step in a little closer.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you good now, right there, nice and clear.
You can hear me good right here.
Yep.
What's going on, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you? I'm chilling.
I'm good, man. I'm good. But you know what?
What's up?
Oh, y'all some damn Trey Burke haters, man.
I knew it was coming. You gotta stay at the mic, Esco. You gotta stay at the mic,
man. Me now?
Yeah, you gotta stay there. Yep.
let me tell you something. Y'all I don't understand. I just don't understand. Why I gotta do this every time? And you know what? And your special guest, he must be over there in that damn bathroom crunching up some damn clips. He got to be over there in that damn bathroom crunching up some damn clips. He gonna say right near Lakina is gonna start. Lord Jesus Christ. Is you kidding me? You got to be kidding me, man. What is wrong with y'all, man?
Because Trey Burke can't play defense. You got to step up to the mic, man.
What was that about a bathroom?
You got to step up to the mic, Esco. You got to stay there. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, you can hear me loud, clear, right now.
Loud and clear, I can hear you. But Trey Burke can't play defense. That's the issue. And when you got other players on the floor, Tim Hardaway, Cantor, that can't play defense either, you got to have a point guard that can play defense. He's still stepping away from the mic, man.
Oh, my goodness. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with your system over there.
Goodness. Can you hear me loud and clear right now?
Right now. So stay in that spot. Wherever you are, stay right there.
I'm going to stay right here. Y'all acting like Trey Burke.
Craig, how come we haven't had Esco on our show?
Dude, you can only hear Esco when he's saying, "Can you hear me loud?"
Can you hear me now? I don't know what's going on, Esco. You keep cutting out on us, man.
He disappeared like Trey Burke's defense, man.
Can you hear me good? Can you hear me now?
Yep. Every time you ask if we can hear you, we can hear you. As soon as you start talking, we can't hear you.
You got to be kidding me. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yep.
Oh, man. Esco.
You can hear me while I'm talking right now.
I can hear. Well, you're going in and out. I don't know if you're walking around in the woods, in the forest, down in Mississippi, man. I don't know what's up. All right, we can't go with that too long. He'll call back. I don't know what's going on with Esco, but you guys at least got a little bit of glimpse of Esco. You got a little glimpse of him.
He went missing like Trey Burke's defense.
he's a funny dude, man. Yeah. Hopefully he calls back in. Let's get another call on the line. You're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping, man?
Hey, Sam. What's up? It's CJ from Winston.
What's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, I'm all right, man. Hey, I've been listening to the chat. It gets me crazy listening to people talk about the Knicks like we don't have good players. Like, we've got great players. Like Cantor, like on the conversation with Cantor earlier. All you have to do is put Vonleh or Mitchell Robinson, who last I heard was one of the top 10 players in Summer League. And if his agent didn't screw him up at the combine, he was a top 5 pick. We got a top 5 pick and a 9 pick in our lineup right now.
Well, I mean, you said Robinson was a top 5 pick.
No. He would have been a top 5 pick if he went to the combine.
Right. Would have been if he would have played college ball last year and been in the combine. Saying he would have been a top 5 pick.
College ball doesn't even. If Mitchell Robinson would have dropped that where he dunked from the other free throw line before the draft, imagine what he would have been picked.
Well, maybe. I mean, maybe. There's a lot of guys that can do that without defense on them and stuff like that. A lot of guys can do that and look good in the video. You know what I mean?
I just say you got Cantor in the contract here. You got Trey Burke, 25, gunning, trying to get a big contract.
Mm-hmm.
You got Knox. We know we saw what he did in summer league. I can't imagine him not going 15-8, 14-6. That's a solid guy. You got Hezonja, who only got better when they gave him more minutes in Orlando last year. Tim Hardaway Jr. averaged 18 points last year, and from what you hear in the this podcast or this video and other things, they talk like he's a bum. He averaged 18 points and broke his leg.
I mean, he shot 42% from the field. He shot 42% from the field too. So
you got a lot of teams with guys that. I mean, Russell Westbrook doesn't shoot the best percentage for the amount of shots he shoots.
Yeah, I mean that's
Tim
true.
Hardaway is going to give you it, even if he gives you what he gave you last year. You got 18 from him. What do you say? 14 from Knox. You're going to get 14 to 15 from Burke. Even if you get 9 or 10 from Vonleh or Mitchell at the 4 or 5, whenever Cantor's off the court, and then you get. I saw Cantor against Embiid on Christmas. He gave him 31 and 22.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see, man. I mean, listen, we got some guys who have some talent. We also have some guys who, aren't, can't get it on the defensive end. You got to put both of those sides together. Offensively, you can't be an all offensive team. You got to be able to play some defense. Can we put it together and play some team defense? We'll see.
Well, I think we got enough defensive players. I mean, if you put Vonleh, Knox, you saw him play good defense in the summer league. Hopefully that carries on. You got Frank. I think you can mix. I don't think only player who's like guaranteed starter maybe next year is Cantor. Everybody else is mix and match. So,
okay, all right.
I think Fitz is a smart enough guy to go in there and give us, put teams together that'll equal out each other. Like you put Trey on the floor, probably can't play him with Cantor. You put Cantor on the floor, you're definitely going to play Frank, so he stops the ball at the point of attack.
Right. All right. Well, we'll see what's going on, man. We're going to see. Hey, I appreciate the call. I got to let you rock because I know some other people trying to get in and we're coming down to the end of the show. No, so I got to let you go, man. Appreciate the call.
Have a good day, man.
Later. All right. We're coming down to the end, guys. Coming down to the end. And what we usually do, Barry, Craig, is, we give everybody that's in the video chat about 30 seconds to get their last thing off. I'm going to take one last call, then we're going to get to our final words. And, of course, we'll let you guys knock it off last, all right? One last call. Call you on live with nothing but Knicks. You got 2 minutes flat because we're coming down to the end of the show.
All right, what's good? This your boy Big Bro from Brownsville.
What's going on, man? I had to call
in to agree with Esco, man. Y'all some Trey Burke haters. Real Trey Burke haters. And I don't want to hear this Trey Burke can't play defense jazz, bro. That's a weak excuse. Let's keep it real, right? Y'all played ball before. Any of y'all on the panel played ball before, If you the point guard and you can't score, your defender backs the hell up off you. He backs up off you, daring you to shoot. And when you can't shoot, you become a liability to your team. Now, when you already got Enes Kanter and you got Tim Hardaway Jr., and Tim Hardaway Jr. going to be bearing most of the scoring load this year, and you have a point guard who can't score, which means he can't create for everybody else, how is the rest of the team going to get theirs off? When you got Frank Ntilikina bringing the ball down and he can't score, you're going to double up on Tim Hardaway, which is going to make it harder for him, and he's already having a hard enough career as it is. You have no choice but to start Trey Burke with him because you need his points. You can easily bring Frank in later if the Knicks have a lead. If they have a lead, because it's going to be a rough season anyway this year. But if they have a lead, then you bring in your Frank and you bring in your Mitch Rob and you let them play D. You don't allow the score to dwindle down or make the starters come back in down 20. Period. His height, his length is all
I disagree.
good.
I disagree.
Prince had that same type of height and length. Where did it get him?
But look, I disagree because I think you always start with establishing yourself defensively before you establish yourself offensively. Offense is going to come and go. You can always play defense. You have to establish yourself defensively first. You know what I'm saying?
Look at J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith was not a great defensive player. But when he had a defensive coach like Mike Woodson,
he didn't start
Mike
either.
Woodson made him take that onus on him. He didn't start. No, he didn't start.
Right.
But his defense got better. You know why? Because as a coach, we both know defense is a desire thing. You have to want to play defense in the first place.
Right, and you don't want your starters. You don't want your starters to be fair weather on the defensive end. If your starters
got 2 minutes,
I got you. I got you. If your starters are fair weather on the defensive end, your first group sets the tone for the game. So if you're coming into the game and you're already giving up baskets here and there, yeah, maybe you're trading and you're scoring, but you set the tone and you let that team get comfortable on the offensive end. Once you let that team get comfortable on the offensive end, it's hard to stop
on the defensive end. So either way, you got to give or take. You got to give or take. This is basketball. You can't have your point guard not be able to score. You just cannot. Dude, we've seen this with
Celtics did it with Rondo. The Celtics did it with Rondo.
Shumpert was on the court as a defending guard.
So what happened with the Celtics and Rondo?
We were sitting there wondering, where are we going to get these extra points from? We need to help Melo. And we couldn't find it nowhere because our point guard and our two guard could not score.
So what happened with the Celtics and Rondo?
Same thing.
Rondo wasn't a scorer. Rondo averaged 10, 12 points a game. He wasn't a scorer. He couldn't shoot a jumper, and they still won a championship.
Rondo was Mr. Triple-Double. Rondo was Mr. Triple-Double. Yes.
Rondo cannot shoot threes.
15 assists, 15 rebounds.
Come on, man.
Every season.
You bugging, man.
Don't believe it. You saw that game when he grabbed 21 rebounds on us.
He had games like that, but he wasn't a scorer.
21 assists.
He had games like that, but he wasn't a scorer.
You crazy?
You tripping, buddy. You tripping, buddy.
Tell me, J.R. Smith is good at defense.
Yeah. Let me tell you something, man. You know, whoever the guy was that was on the line, right? You said Rondo, he might have had games where he could score, but he wasn't a scorer, right? He was a triple-double type of guy, which is the same type of thing that Frank is. He's not a scorer, but Frank will be able to go out one of these days and get you a triple-double. You know what I'm saying? Maybe just be 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. Or maybe I don't care if it's 10 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists. It's close enough. You know what I'm saying? Rondo was not a scorer. You can go look at Rondo's stats.
Rondo was a triple-double threat in that championship.
Yeah. I don't know what this guy was talking about. Rondo was like maybe that year, maybe 12 points a game, 10, 12 points a game, 8 assists. Yeah, something like that. I mean, of course, you have good games, but as far as I'm concerned, man, you always. Troy Flett, he said, Rondo can score the ball. I'm not saying he can't score. I'm saying he's not a scorer. Frank can score the ball too. Just about everybody in the NBA can score the ball. It doesn't mean that they're a scorer. You know what I'm saying? Frank's not a scorer. That's okay, but it doesn't mean that you can't. It doesn't mean that you can't distribute the ball and get your teammates involved in other ways. You know what I'm saying? You know, let's look at Rubio. Exactly. Rubio, he's not a scorer, but he's able to get people involved in different ways. You know what I'm saying? You always establish yourself defensively first. You establish yourself defensively. You know, and you got to put a good defensive product on the floor. That's just my take from it. You know what I mean? So we're gonna get down to these last words. You know, and you know, someone in here said, Sim, the caller ate me up. If that's your opinion, that's cool. I disagree with him. You know what I'm saying? He called up and, you know, got his little 10 seconds of fame in there and, you know, started screaming and yelling and everything. I disagree with him, though. I think you always establish yourself on the defensive end first, which is why I don't think Trey Burke is the right guy to start. That's just where I'm at with it. So I am going to we're gonna go on with these last words, and I'm gonna start with Ant. I'm gonna start with you, Ant. 30 seconds, man.
Caller,
Where you at with it?
that last caller, he made my ears bleed. I feel like I got dumber listening to him. But I think Frank Ntilikina can be a Rajon Rondo with a better jump shot. I think that's what we can hope he can become. I don't see the rationale for starting Burke with the type of team we have set up. I want to shout out to it's a hard Knicks life. It's cool chatting with y'all today. I can't wait for Thursday. I think Thursday we all come together. Mark can mute me on Thursday, and we can attack this weirdo fan together as a united front. The Nothing But Knicks chat will be united on Thursday.
There we go. That's what it is. We'll be united on Thursday. All right, my man. Ant, peace, man. Guillermo, it's on you, bro.
Yo. Yeah, man. Salute to the chat, man. Craig, man. Barry in the bathroom, man. That's some hardcore shit right there. Excuse my language, sorry. Salute to the chat, man. Nah, that's dedication, man. I love this, man. I hope you guys are here on Thursday to roast this idiot, this clown. But I ignore guys like that, man. But yeah, like I said, man, there are ways that, we can help, that Coach Fizdale can bring the most out of these guys, man. Like, that'll be very quick. Things like running elevator plays for Knox, who's an off-ball shooter. Things to get guys in a rhythm to play up to their strengths while working on their deficiencies. I think that's what Fizdale needs to do, and I hope he does that. I mean, we have talent on this team. I'm not saying we are 1 and 2 seed, but we have talent to make some noise, man. And I think you have Knox, you have Frank, you have Tim Hardaway, Mitchell. You have a good core of young guys to make some noise and get about late, higher 30s, maybe even possibly 40 wins, man. But it's all about the player development, man. So hopefully we do good. But I'll see you guys on Thursday, man.
All right, man. Thursday we're gonna be ready. Peace, and Mr. Andre Brown, I hope you're ready to call up Thursday so you can talk to the infuriated Knick fan. Since Andre, my man Andre, called me up and start screaming on me, scream on the infuriated Knick fan, bro. Call up Thursday, get on my man. All right, Nate, it's on you.
Sim, I just want to say thank you because I love talking about defense. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, if we don't play defense, we ain't going anywhere, man. We ain't winning one game, and defense wins championships. The best teams, they have good defenses. And I'll tell you what, man, I believe in Fizdale. I believe that he will bring a good defensive mentality to these players. And even the players that haven't been good defenders, you don't have to be a great individual defender. You have to buy in to the system, and you have to communicate on the defensive end and come together as a team. And I think Fizdale can do that. And I think if we can be a good defensive team, not great, I'm saying, middle of the pack, this team could possibly be on the doorstep of the playoffs. I really do believe because if you look at the games that we lost, a lot of them were because of defense.
Yep, I agree. A lot of them were because of defense. Yeah, for sure. All right, Nate.
All right.
Thursday night, man, 10:30.
See you guys Thursday. Y'all have a good night.
Peace. Who's Mark? You next, man. You on tap.
We ain't going to the playoffs. We're gonna suck next year. This is gonna be a learning curve. Y'all Knicks fans gotta get with it, man. Stop thinking that we're gonna win over 29 games. It is a fluke. We don't know what we are. We don't have the talent. We don't know what our talent is yet to be talking like they're going to be someone. They haven't shown anything. That's why teams got rid of them. It's a reason. But good night to the chat and everyone else in the other chat room.
All right, Mark. Thursday. I see you Thursday night, man.
What's Thursday?
Thursday night. We're gonna be on live Thursday night. But the dude who sold his Knick fandom is gonna be here.
Oh, he was just looking to make money, and then
so
idiots on eBay that pay for stuff like that.
Yeah, we're gonna light him up. We're gonna light him up.
I ain't mad at him. He got 3,500. Give me 3,500. Some damn.
He's out of here. All right, Viv, it's on you, man.
All right. First things first, it's great chatting with both of you, Barry and Craig. It was a fun few hours. Love the podcast, by the way.
Thanks.
Just a general thing about defense and some other things in general that I want to clear up. First, someone mentioned, how like Steph Curry's, like this bad defender that they're trying to hide. First off, a lot of that's not true. If you actually watch a lot of the film really carefully, you see a lot of he's actually not as bad of an individual defender as some people think he is. A lot of it's actually based on the toughness, and he's actually gotten better in the last few years under Kerr. And Kerr's kind of motivated him to become a better and tougher individual defender, which has allowed him to, empowered him to become, take those matchups very seriously and with pride. Unlike situations with Mark Jackson, where Mark Jackson would try to hide him in a corner, put him on like a weak, offensive player. Curry has, over the last few years embraced it. I mean, granted, it's not the most elite defense, but he's not as bad of a defender as people claim, he is. But with that said, defense, again, is a lot of it is based on, the strategy you have, and it's based on, the discipline that you instill with the players not to give up on that particular strategy and that particular plan. So as long as people communicate, they stay disciplined, and they do not, give up on plays, that's the real key. But again, it's a long season, and with players, they easily get frustrated when they miss a defensive assignment. That kind of ruins everything. So it'll be a long season to get these players to instill these principles and instill that composure and discipline that's necessary.
All right, Viv, I appreciate it. I will talk to you. You know what? I might talk to you on Twitter Twitter tomorrow, or maybe later on tonight after the stream. All right. This is why I asked you a question. All right.
Gotcha.
All right. Later, Viv.
Mm-hmm.
Later, Viv.
All right. So last, I'm gonna have you guys. I'm gonna have you guys go together since you're a duo.
We should go together. Yeah.
Well, I'll say something. I mean, personally, I'm actually glad that nobody else is in the chat, because I feel like if you pay Trey Burke a compliment, you get blasted, and everybody else doesn't let you hear the end of it. So, and I'm about to pay him, I guess, a compliment. And it seems like you have to be on Team Frank or Team Trey, which I really don't get either. You can like these two guys. I guess if you're fighting for a starting role and you're fighting for your guy to be in the starting position, then it's one thing. But obviously, I want these two guys to succeed, and I think they both have a lot of talent. So I'm going to agree with the guy that you had it in with on the phone, that last caller, with one thing that he said. I said earlier in the show that Enes Kanter's defense is a liability, and I believe at this point it can't be taught. Now, Trey Burke's about the same age and has been in the league the same amount of time as Enes Kanter, and yet I agree Trey Burke's defense can change. Okay. And I'm going to base that on his storyline of last year, how he kind of reinvented himself. He went back to the G League. I mean, he turned his career around. He made a name for himself. And I think he's going to build off of that. You could see the training he's putting in this offseason. He is getting quicker. He is getting stronger. And I think he has enough self-awareness to know that if there's one spot that he's got to improve in order to either get a starting role or, become that elite caliber player that's getting a good amount of minutes and is going to help a team win, he knows it's his defense that has to improve. So I think he is capable of doing that. And, I guess we'll see what happens when that time comes. The other thing I mentioned that, I think KP is going to come back early. And when I say early, I mean maybe 10 months. KP is somebody that likes the spotlight. He does not shy away from the camera. He is an attention seeker, but in a good way, because he wants to elevate himself, to that superstar level, be it through TV commercials or, whatever it may be. He craves that. And that's why my prediction is he's coming back Christmas Day. It's going to be no bigger stage than that day, national TV. against the team he had the injury with. I think he's got his eyes set not to come back before that day. After that day, he wants to be there on that court because of the big story. That's just who I think he is. And I think he's going to show that he's going to come back stronger. And lastly, I want to thank you for having us on. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, love to be a part of it again.
Yeah, definitely, Craig.
All the time in these last words.
Craig, and I'm sorry, Craig, but before you guys go, I just want to, just tell everyone a little bit about your podcast when it comes out. I know you just had an episode come out Sunday, so, but
I wanted to say thank you too, Simeon. It was a lot of fun. From Esco to that dude combing his hair nonstop.
Who's Mark?
Dude with the chips. I have to be honest, it was hard getting used to this whole thing.
Yeah.
Seeing myself, Barry, and all these guys on camera, not being able to see you, which people might not realize.
Right, and all these people are muted on the live stream, but we hear.
Yeah, we hear everyone. Guillermo's going crazy while other people are talking. To the point where I was so confused, I didn't know if he was on or the caller was. But it's been so much fun. I've been laughing my butt off. Mostly when I just look at Barry in the bathroom. It's just so funny.
Yeah.
Viv was just talking, and I kept glancing at Barry, and I felt so bad because I just started laughing. But Viv wasn't laughing at you. I've been waiting for a season like the one we're about to have for a long time. We've been struggling, doing things the right way for so long. We've been signing the wrong guys to long-term deals. We never went full in on this youth movement, and I'm so excited for this season because I think we're finally doing it the right way. We have no expectations. I don't expect to make the playoffs. If we do, great. We don't, I don't care. I'm just so excited to watch Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Knox, Ntilikina, Trey Burke, everyone. Can't wait to see KP come back, our favorite unicorn. It's a hard Knicks life. Check out our pod, everybody.
Yes, sir.
It's great meeting everybody, and we had a great time. I had a great time.
Yeah,
well, I have to go to the bathroom so bad, by the way.
I went like 3 times.
You have, I know, I can tell.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to you guys coming back, and I'd love to I'd love to do something do a guest spot on your podcast as well.
You got it, man. Sure. We're getting you on.
Yeah, no problem at all. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and end the show. I thank you guys, and I'm sure I'll talk to you on Twitter.
We will. Thank you, Sim.
All right, have a good one.
Have a good night.
You too. All right, Knicks fans, we're down to the end of the show, and I want to start off my last words just by saying, hey, Andre Brown, listen, man, we're just talking, we're just chatting. It's all in fun. It's all in love, man. As a matter of fact, I seen you said something about coaching. I'm a coach. I'm sure you know I'm a coach. Because I talk about it. So, since you're a coach, I think if I read the chat correctly, you said you're a coach. I'm going to challenge you when we have these summer camps to come out and help teach these kids when we have summer camps in the summer. All right, so Andre, I hope to see you out there so we could chop it up and we could talk a little bit. Definitely call back. I love to have debates on the show, so definitely, we don't have to get crazy with the debates, but definitely call back. You have an intelligent opinion. I have an intelligent opinion. We could talk about it. But I do want to say, Thursday, Infuriated Knicks fan is going to be on here. We're going to light into him, but we're going to do it respectfully. All right, let's do that. He is a human being, so on and so forth. So we're going to light into him. We're going to let him know what we think about him leaving, or listen, I would say he was doing whatever he did. But, this is going to be one time that we're going to be able to let him know what the deal is for real. Everyone else has been soft on him. We're going to let him know what the deal is for real. This is the Knicks fans' chance to let him know face to face how we feel. And we're going to jump into it. Again, if you were not able to get a ticket to the opening night kickoff, please sign your name on this list. When I get up to 60 people on this list, that is when I'm going to start collecting money for another lounge. Okay? That's when I'm going to start collecting money for another lounge so that we'll have 2 lounges. So if you're interested, but serious, you got to be serious though, because you're going to have to be ready to pay the money within 48 hours. All right. You sign your name on this list. You got to be ready to purchase the ticket or tickets. All right. So the list is up. I put the list up, put your name on the list. Check out the website where you can sign up for our fantasy leagues. All right. There's 2 fantasy leagues that are still open. There's a cash league and there is just a free league, and both of them still have some space. So sign up for those leagues. And the draft is going to be live. We're going to do the draft live right here over the stream. All right. I hope to see some of you guys during the kickoff. It's going to be fun. I'll be back on Thursday night. Hope to see you guys there Thursday night. Let everybody know this infuriated dude is going to be on the show. We want Knicks fans to be able to come, talk to him, let him know what the deal is. You know what I'm saying? Let him know what the deal is. But Andre, talk to me. I want to get you at them camps, man. You're a coach. We need your expertise out there helping to teach these kids how to play ball. All right? So holla at me, man. There's going to be a link out very soon for people who would like to volunteer to help out with these camps and some other things that we'll be doing to help out kids in the community. When that's out, I'll let you know so that you can sign up. Everybody's been fun. You know what I'm saying? It's always nice to have people come in and see what we do here in our chat. Always nice to have them come in. Thursday night, 10:30. Peace, y'all. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Ring the bell. You'll get a notification anytime that I go live. Holla at you Thursday. Peace.